Hello, all you achievement chasers and anyone who doesn't care about achievements but just likes listening to us talk about achievements. Dude and I are back for our episode 2 of our achievement chasers. We talk about what we've been hunting achievement wise over the last month, being November. Now that it is December 1st, we both kind of had a slower month, so this one might be a little bit shorter than last month, but we'll see. Sometimes we say that and it ends up going long. I don't mean this particular stream because we've only had one so far, but I say that often on streams, and then we end up going hours longer anyways. So we'll see how it goes, but I am excited to talk about achievements, and I have a little bit of a ranting to do, but I don't want to spoil it. I mentioned that in one of my streams earlier this week or someone else's stream. So I'm looking.
Oh, don't worry. I have actually told people that I will be ranting about one of the games.
Okay, so
bad coding.
We both have a rant to do about achievements. So, well, thank you anyone who's joining us live or watching in the replay. I know our always faithful Insidious Bliss. I saw him reply to the tweet saying that he can't watch live, but he'll be watching the replay. So, it's always awesome having him around. So, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things to talk about. So I think you said you only had like 4. So is that right?
5.
5. Okay. So I think I'll start since I've got more this time, even though it was a slower month. A lot of the days, this wasn't really feel like playing some of my Xbox stuff, so I just got an achievement to keep my streak alive. So I'll start off with one of the first things is that given that I now have a PC that's capable of running actual games that are made in the last decade, and there was my first Steam fall sale. I did spend a little bit of money and pick up some Steam games. Actually, I bought this one before that, but I bought it for like $4 or something. I bought my favorite game of all time on PC, Mass Effect 3. And so I played the multiplayer.
Wait, you didn't buy the trilogy?
No, I just bought Mass Effect 3 for the multiplayer because I love the multiplayer. I have the Legendary Edition on Xbox, and if I'm going to play it on one of the platforms, if I have the option between any other platform and Xbox, I'm going to play it on Xbox. The only thing I'm going to play on other platforms.
To be honest, I'm one of those people that will actually play a game on a separate platform just to get the achievements on the other platform as well.
I now have Steam games that the next one I'm going to talk about, Mass Effect 3, and I think I streamed all of it too. I played Mass Effect 3 multiplayer for a couple nights, and I got about 16 of the achievements in that just from playing the multiplayer. I wasn't even paying attention because I've already got all the achievements on the Xbox version. But then the other one that I bought during the fall sale for like $1 is I bought both Portal 1 and 2, but I only played through Portal 1 because that's pretty short. So I just did a quick run through of the single player. I mean, there only is single player in Portal. It's not until Portal 2 that got co-op, but there are challenges in Portal 1, and I have not done those yet because those are pretty difficult. But I did a quick run through of Portal 1, the story mode. So I've got I think about like 8 out of the 16 achievements. Let me pull it up real quick. I didn't have it handy here. I have 8 of 15. So I got about half of the Portal achievements on Steam so far. But I did buy Portal 2 as well because it was also like $1. And Portal 2 is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time. And I'm happy to play through the co-op again, either on Xbox or Steam now for anyone who wants to play either the co-op just for fun or wants to do the achievements, because there are a few tricky achievements in the Portal co-op for like doing a whole chapter without
I haven't done the Portal games, so maybe I could do it.
I'm happy to do them because I freaking love Portal. So those are the first two.
Main reason why I haven't tried Portal on Xbox is because it's tied to the Team Fortress.
And the orange box. Only. Yes, yeah. The orange box has Portal, Team Fortress 2,
And
Half-Life
Half-Life 2.
2 and Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So it is quite the collection. And I have 90, I think I have 97 out of the 99 achievements, which is the first game on Xbox to have 99 achievements. And only be worth 1,000 gamer score.
Hey, last month I talked about a game that had 99 achievements on it, and that was the Devil May Cry HD collection.
So yeah, the only achievements I don't have in the orange box are the ones for getting silver and gold on all those portal challenges I just mentioned. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I started off with. Just a couple of little Steam stuff. I did play Black Mesa for a few minutes and got one more achievement, but I still haven't even got. I think I've played up into the basically the catalyst of the game when you go into the room and push the crystal into the laser and everything goes wrong. I haven't done that yet, but I'm in that room, so I haven't really played much of the game yet. But I am looking forward to playing through the full Black Mesa at some point because I'm interested to see how it stands up against the original Half-Life. So that's my first phase of stuff. So what do you got?
Yeah, I think the first game I'll talk about was the first game I played. I was actually playing this a little bit in the middle of the towards the end of last month, but I finished it up during this month, and that was Sonic's Genesis collection.
You did mention that.
Yeah. So pretty much most of this is just doing like one little challenge in most of the games, like getting past the first temple and Oasis. I think the hardest ones were related to Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine and Sonic Spinball.
That was Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, I did do that one back in 2009. I was like, I think I played that.
Yeah. It was just sitting there, and I was like, I wanted to do an easy game. It was during that time period after the madness that was Mercenaries 2 that I wanted to do some easy games.
I need a palate cleanser, something nice and easy and fun.
I needed like 6-game palate cleanser.
And we got Dempsey in the chat. Hello, Dempsey. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Achievement Chasers.
Yeah, but the Bean Machine, pretty much you had to beat the entire story mode thing. But you could use a password to get to the final to Dr. Robotnik, and
I remember doing that, having to save scum the bejesus out of that game. It's basically a little Tetris-like mini game, right?
Yeah. If I'm gonna play that game legitimately, it's got to have its own set list.
Yeah.
If it's just a collection, I don't mind doing the little cheapness.
I forgot about that until you mentioned it. I'm like, oh, I do remember that being a pain in the butt.
I did do Sonic Spinball without save stating though, and that was getting like 10 million points in the first level.
Oh yeah, that was my second to last achievement. I don't remember if I did that one with or without save states. I probably did save states, most likely. Oh yeah, like Dr. Mario with less forgiving AI. I never played Dr. Mario, but I remember seeing it all over the place.
I always get bored with Dr. Mario because it's just matching the colors. And it's not nearly as fun as other puzzle games to me.
Yeah, just colors, not shapes, like Tetris.
And there's nothing really crazy about it. Just get 4 and you're done.
Okay. Yeah. I know it's Tetris-like, but I don't really know exactly how it plays, other than it does involve colored little like pills.
Best Tetris is Tetris DS.
Okay. I have not played a whole lot of Tetris. I do remember playing Tetris on the original Tetris, or I think it was the original Tetris on Game Boy. Because in high school, one of the guys on our soccer team, every time we had an away game, he'd bring both of his Game Boys and the link cable so we could play Tetris against each other. And I think I think the only other Tetris I've really played was like on my phone.
Gotcha.
For a little bit here and there.
Everyone only played Tetris on the DS, and that was because it had so many different game modes.
I think there was a Tetris game that's on Xbox Live or on Game Pass. I don't know if it's still there, but I know that one was pretty popular like a year or two ago.
I know there was Tetris 99.
That might be what I'm thinking of, but I just remember hearing a lot of people talk about this really good Tetris game on Game Pass. Because Tetris 99, that's basically the Battle Royale one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was that one. That seemed really cool, but I'm like, because I'm so stingy on what goes on my tag, I'm like, I'm not bothering with that.
Yeah. Game. I haven't touched a single Battle Royale.
Yeah, I've
Although Call of Duty kind of counts because none of the battle royale stuff has achievements.
I was just gonna say the only battle royale I've ever played was I played Warzone with a couple of my buddies for like a weekend because there are no achievements tied to it.
Sorry,
And
Dempsey, I haven't seen the Tetris movie, but I did see the documentary. I think from the Gaming Historian.
okay,
I think it was.
I did watch the Tetris movie and I really enjoyed it and I thought it was great. And that's why I was like, I'm pretty sure the original Tetris was on the Game Boy, not like Atari 2600 or something. Because of that movie, he was trying to get the rights through communist Russia to put Tetris as a pack-in game with every Game Boy. That was I don't know exactly how accurate the movie is. I heard that some of the stuff, like the race to the airport at the end, was dramatized for Hollywood.
Probably, yeah.
So I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but it was a very interesting and a very interesting movie, and I did enjoy it.
I mean,
Definitely
there is
one of the good
there's
video
also
game
that
movies.
craziness. There's also that craziness with the licensed and unlicensed versions on the NES.
Oh yeah, I think they touched on that in the movie.
The unlicensed version is actually extremely expensive nowadays because it was it was only like out for like a month, and then Nintendo was like, okay, well, we can fully release the game.
Okay, so it's like a collector's item now.
Yeah,
nice.
It does have different music though.
Oh, that's part of the charm of the game. So, okay. Well, so I'll go next. I messaged Dude about 5 minutes maybe 10 minutes after we finished Achievement Chasers last month at the end of October because I totally spaced about a game that I was planning on playing over November. I didn't even mention it because I had just started it that night, and I think I'd gotten just the first achievement. But I had to panic play it because it was leaving Game Pass in the middle of November, and I entirely forgotten to mention it. And that was Ghost Song. So Ghost Song left Game Pass on November 16th, and I hadn't started it. And like I said, I don't start the only games I start right now until I finish my dive is games that are leaving Game Pass that I want to play. And given that it is a Metroidvania, which is my genre of expertise, I absolutely had to play it before it left. And oh my goodness, it got down to the wire on getting the completion. So I did complete it before it left. I think
Nice.
I think I got the final achievement in the game. I was this close to giving up on it too, but I got the final achievement in the game at about 2:30 in the morning on the day it was leaving. So I stayed up extra late because like trying to get it. So and I played it. It's not like I left it for the last minute. I was basically playing it every day through those 2 weeks. So it's a side-scrolling 2D platformer, dark. It's a Souls-like Metroidvania, but it has melee combat, but the focus is on range combat. You're basically like Samus. You have a blaster for an arm, but it overheats like after like 5 shots, and then your shots get super weak and they shoot slower. And the time it takes for your arm cannon to cool down before you can do full damage shots again is forever.
So wait, there weren't expansions to make that better.
There are, but it's not tied to story progress. You just have to find it out in the world, and some of them are RNG. They randomly drop.
Oof.
So it's completely random. The one thing that is sort of a consolation is that when your blaster overheats, your melees do more damage. So I was really, really not liking the game for the first like 6-ish hours until I finally got, because there's like 3 different, it's very much like a Hollow Knight in that you get these drops and you have like a certain number of slots you can equip them in. Some of the better the item is, it may take up 2 or 3 slots. And as you can expand, I think you start with like 4 slots, and you can expand it up to 8 or something. I have to go back and look, but and the better ones take up more slots. So and I think there's like 30 total in the game that you can get, and you have to get all of them for one of the achievements. And some of them are missable, which is really annoying. Always a big pain, especially when you're panic playing something.
Depends on how
Um,
long the game is for me that I mind about missables. If it's like a
it's
3-hour game, I don't mind it. But if it's
it's
like a 40-hour game, I'm keeping a guide open the entire time I play.
yeah, it's my obviously my first playthrough was my longest, but when I had to do I had basically had to do a speed run at the end to get that last achievement that I missed. But I'll get to that in just a second. But there's like three different upgrades that you can get that improve your cooldown so you can keep shooting longer. So once I got a couple of those, the game got a lot better. Because just the balance of shooting to overheating was way out of whack at the early stages of the game.
Kind of like Souls games when you realize that the best way to deal with boss enemies is just grab big sword.
Yeah. Um, and there are a bunch of different melee weapons as well. And so as you get some of the other ones, it makes the melee portion better once your blaster overheats. But yeah, so I got all of them except for one achievement, and it was like I thought I was gonna get it because the final achievement is for basically completing so how the basically the story of the game is I don't even know if your main character is human or an android or a robot or what. It's very unclear, but your character's name or something, it's anytime you're speaking it says dead suit over the subtitles. So but you actually sleep. And I was like, if you're a robot, why would you need to sleep? And it's not like you plug in to sleep, you just go to sleep standing where you are. So it's like I don't know what the character is supposed to be. But anyways, you wake up like you're like
Okay, it's a human brain in a suit, and
essentially
a
it's what it
robot
seems
suit.
like. Um because there one of the characters in the game is like an actual android and she's trying to make her body better. Um but you basically wake up like marooned on this planet and you find another crash ship with a whole bunch of survivors. There's like 6 or 7 or 8 of them, and the achievement is for basically completing your like dialogue with each of them. And how the game plays is after you get to the camp where they are, their crashed ship, you talk to the ship's computer, and it's like, hey, in order to get the ship flight worthy again and get off this planet, we need these 5 parts. And then it shows you on the map where exactly it doesn't fill in the map, it just shows you, it's all hazy, but you're like the 5 parts I need are here. So kind of
You
what
know the
direction
general
you
location.
yeah, what direction you need to go, and you can do them in any order. Um, except for some of them, you need certain upgrades to get to. So you may go
Like a
like, I'm
typical
gonna go for
Metroidvania.
yeah. So you may go like, oh, I'm gonna try to go to this one, but it's like, oh, I need the wall jump in order to get to this one, so I'll have to come back to that one later. But some of them you can get in any order. I mean, there's only 5. But what you have to do is basically after you collect each one of those parts, or no, what you have to do is you basically have to go and exhaust all the dialogue with each of the characters before you return each part. And if you don't do that, then you basically screwed the achievement because you have to. If you go too far, like the first time I played through it, I was ignoring them basically entirely, and I just turned in the 5 parts, and I didn't progress the story at all. I got almost all the achievements, but there are some of them that are tied to those dialogue progressions, and I
Yeah,
had to do another playthrough to get them. So I was following a guide, and I finished my playthrough
mic abuse.
following the guide of who to talk to and when at like 10 o'clock on at 10 p.m. on the 15th. And I did not get the achievement. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So I was like, all right, I was looking through the on the solution, the comments from people, and some people are saying like, because the actual solution there's additional characters in the world that you can talk to, and some of the people in the solution is like saying you don't have to do this stuff, just talk to these people. And I was like, all right, do I risk it and do a speed run right now before I go to bed and just ignore those other characters and hope it works, or because I was like, there's no way I can do it with talking to all those other additional characters throughout the world and still get it before it leaves Game Pass, or do I just leave it and just be like, all right, I just don't get the last achievement. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a speed run, and I'm gonna ignore those other characters. I'm just gonna focus on the main story characters from that crash ship. So I did a speed run through it, and that was about 10:30. I started that, and I beat the game at about 2:15, and I still didn't get an achievement. I was like, "Are
Oof.
you kidding me?" So, I loaded up my last save from before I finished the game because it's not like it goes into New Game Plus automatically. It starts you out at the last save, and you can go beat the game again. Um, and I ran around the map to some of those bonus characters and just talked to them. And then I went and completed the game again, and the achievement unlocked. I was like, "Oh my god, hallelujah! Thank you, Jesus!" So I got the completion at like 2:30 in the morning. I was amped that I got it before it left Game Pass. I was worried the entire time that I'm gonna be in the middle of my game and it's gonna pop up and say, "You need a license to play this game." So I was like biting my, not physically, but I was like figuratively biting my nails down to the wire to see if I was going to complete it before it left Game Pass, and I did. And
Have you ever played a game whenever the license got revoked?
I did once, but and even after I got the achievement, I just left it running for like another 20 minutes while I got ready for bed just to see if it would kick me out, and it didn't kick me out, so it was late, so I turned it off and went to bed.
Probably what happens is that it probably doesn't check until after the next time you try to play the game.
That's what I thought too, because I way back, because I thought maybe if I leave the game running, it won't kick me out. So probably. So the reason why I know it doesn't do that, it will kick you out in the middle of the game, is because a game that was on Game Pass that I accidentally got an achievement in because it was a Game Pass quest. I was like, dang it. So was F1 2018 simulation racing game. It's a pretty good game, but I've kind of out on racing games. As did I talk about Forza and how I got screwed on Forza?
I think you have said that.
I know I've talked about it before. I just don't remember if it was on Achievement Chasers or another stream. But I basically bounced out of racing games after Forza 3 screwed me and deleted all my save data when I was at 920 gold medals out of 969. So there was a Game Pass quest like a couple years ago for F1 2018, and I got an achievement just for finishing my first race, and I was like, no. So the thing was that normally when games leave Game Pass, they give at least TA puts out an article like, here's the games that are leaving in 2 weeks. So you got about 2 weeks to finish them. F1 2018 had like 6 hours of notice before it left Game Pass. They didn't let anyone know. It wasn't on the leaving soon page on the Xbox. No announcement anywhere that it was leaving Game Pass until like literally hours before it left. I was really pissed about that because I would have finished it before it left Game Pass. I since bought it after it left when it went on sale for like $5, so
yeah,
it wasn't that big of a deal. But because it was like no notice before it left Game Pass, I got a bunch of the achievements were pretty easy. So I spent that 6 hours getting as much as I could, and I think I've got like 450 out of the 1,000. But I still have a bunch more to do because it's like a 40 to 50 hour completion, and most of it's for progressing through like the tournament mode, which is kind of slow progression. So what I did is I left it on running overnight, and then when I woke up in the morning, I turned on my TV to see it was still running, and it had the thing up saying you need a license to play it. So I know it does it. So
I think the only racing game I've actually gone and finished was Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original.
I loved that game,
and it's so easy as an achievement list because it's literally just play through the campaign and you're done.
Yeah, I would love to play through that one again just for the fun of it. I know they did a remake or remaster of it in like 2012. I don't know if that was any good or not.
I hadn't played it yet either. And to be honest, I don't even know if Retro Achievements. Let me check to see if Retro Achievements has that game on it because it does have PS2 support.
I was surprised when I went back and looked at Modern Warfare. Which race? Most Wanted, because that was a 360 launch title.
They actually do support Most Wanted, the Black Edition. There's 134 achievements on that game.
It's not retro achievements, right?
Yeah, retro achievements.
Yeah. So Most Wanted, I'm almost positive was a 360 launch title, and it's not even backwards compatible. Yeah. I was surprised by that. It's like, how is it not backwards compatible? I would like to play through that game just for the fun of it, but nope, not backwards compatible. So,
oh wow, they have an achievement for actually getting each pink slip.
Oh, in Most Wanted?
Yeah.
Is that not just the story campaign progress from beating each of the 12 rivals or whatever that you go
It's a
through?
random reward you can get, so you could end up having
Oh,
to restart the battle against them and to have to get the pink slip.
okay.
Wow, and
So
they even have an achievement for beating each of the top guys without any performance upgrades.
good, no upgrades?
Yeah,
That's evil. Oh my goodness, I did not want to do that. But yeah, so that's
but
that's
at least
part.
it seems like it does seem like this achievement list is way more fleshed out than the one on we got on Xbox.
Yeah, it was, 360 was the invention of achievements, so no one really knew what to do with them yet. So
Yeah,
they're like a lot of those like 2006 sports games, they were just like threw in like, oh, we need 5 achievements. We'll just do 5 achievements because we don't care about them. And then it was later on they got more interesting as developers
and then
figured out ways to be
start
creative with their achievements.
adding online achievements, and then they started shutting down the servers.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of my not I have more of a rant later, but that's kind of my rant on what was I just talking about? Ghost Song.
What's funny is Dempsey says that in the game I'm about to talk about was easy.
Yeah, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth getting. It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, because I'll go ahead and talk about my next game because that's a good segue.
Perfect.
Megamind Ultimate Showdown.
Megamind.
It's
I've not played that.
You can literally do it in a couple hours. It's literally just play through the campaign.
I know a lot of those.
The hardest
movie
achievements
tie-in
is
games.
beating each of the bosses without dying.
Okay,
But
I doubt
as
that's
long as you
very
know what you're
difficult on a
doing,
kid's game.
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, a
But
lot
it's
of those
annoying that
movie
if you
tie-in
fail
games
at it,
weren't very
it's annoying if
difficult.
you fail at it because if you fail at it, you have to redo the entire level up to them again.
Oh, okay.
There's no easy way to go back and restart the fight. Because it's one of those games where when you die, you just get respawned right back in the exact same spot.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a Lego game.
Yeah.
It was a fun game for what it is.
Okay.
Just a simple. Just think the Lego games, but just as Megamind.
Yeah, I've not even seen Megamind, so I don't know anything about that movie. But I have played a number of those movie tie-in games from that time frame. Like I know I
I
played.
haven't watched the movie either, but again, like I said, the game actually feels more like a sequel than an actual retelling of the movie.
Okay, yeah, I played some of those tie-in games. Like I remember I played in one of the open season games. You play as Boo the bear, which I have seen some of those movies. Oh yeah, open season. I played one of the Shrek games. A Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End game. Obviously, I did Avatar, and I never.
That was my last. Let's just say that was my last palate cleanser from Mercenaries 2.
Yeah, never went past the first room, which I didn't know anything about Avatar when I did that game, but I have since watched the anime and I love it, so I would actually be.
Oh, I knew the game. I knew the series before I played the game, but I still only just played the first room.
Okay, so I did. Actually, let's 3, 10, 16-year anniversary when I did Avatar. I did it on December 1st of 2007.
Nice.
And I didn't actually watch Avatar the show until let's see here, 2007, probably until like 3-ish years after that when I was in college.
I own the
Because
entire series on Blu-ray, including Core. I'm actually one of those people who actually enjoy Core for what it is.
I liked Korra a lot. But yeah, I ended up watching Avatar because my roommates and some of my buddies were big fans of it, so I've watched it since then. So
Korra is definitely carried by its supporting cast, though. Okay. Korra is not nearly as good as Aang.
Okay, yeah, talking about the Korra, I thought the season 1 and Amon, I thought that he was a fantastic villain. That story was amazing.
Yeah. I actually really like seasons 3 and 4 as well. I love Zahir as the anarchist.
I'd have to get a quick refresher on which season was which, because I remember the one with like the spirit beasts. I wasn't a huge fan of. Okay, I didn't care for that one that much.
Which was the last season that was on TV.
But I did like season. Yeah, okay. Then it was season 3 and 4 that I enjoyed a lot better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, given that now that I know about Avatar, I'd be interested to go back and actually play that Avatar game and see how if it was actually any good or not.
And an interesting thing about Korra is that Kuvira, the villain that was that was a side character in season 3 and was the main villain of season 4. She's actually voiced by Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter.
Oh, okay, cool. I did not know that. Yeah, I knew that Robin Williams' daughter was named Zelda, like probably in high school or maybe college or something. I was like, I wonder if it's because he's an actual fan of Zelda. And I just found out just recently that he's a huge fan of Zelda.
There was a Zelda ad that they actually did for, I think, 3D Ocarina of Time.
That's it. That's why I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, he was a big fan of the Zelda franchise. That's why he named his daughter that.
No, he could have also been a fan of that one actress that was named Zelda in the black and white era.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I can't remember her last name, but her first name is Zelda, and I think that's who Miyamoto actually named the Princess Zelda after.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. It
was kind of an exotic name to most people, so it's like, that sounds like a good princess name.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, I don't know many of the names of that first generation of like movie actors from way back in the day.
Yeah,
Dempsey saying that Korra was all right. I just think that after the quality of the first one, the people were expecting similar quality, and a lot of people didn't like the sports ball stuff. Yeah,
I think I like season 1 with how quiet it was for a long time, because it felt like the piece that Aang had brought was lasting.
Yeah,
it lasted even almost two decades after he died.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So
that just means that like I said, what he implemented into the world was actually worked.
Yeah, agreed. So, okay. So, and well, yeah, okay. I'll talk about it right now. So, I forgot to mention it before I moved past Steam back to Xbox stuff, because there are no achievements for it. But I also got it in the Steam fall sale or not winter sale, but the
super sale.
The fall super sale, because I've heard the name of it, and I'd seen like a couple screenshots of it, and I came across someone on a Twitter thread, and I was like, "Oh, what game is that?" And they're like, "Satisfactory." I'm like, "Oh, that's that game." So I looked into it more, and I'm like, "I think I would really like this game." So I bought it on the fall sale. And there's no achievements because it's still in early access, although there are other early access games that have Steam achievements, but Satisfactory does not. And I've been neglecting a lot of my Xbox playing because I've been wanting to play Satisfactory. I was talking about it last night on open mic with Charlie from Goes Nowhere Does Nothing, because you spend any time in my chat, you know how much I love Subnautica, and it has a lot of the same base building mechanics as Subnautica, because a lot of those god games, I call them, are like isometric top down, like StarCraft or whatever, but a lot of these like building games don't have like a combat mechanic in it like StarCraft. It's just like you're looking down and you're building stuff, like I mentioned, Factorio is a popular one.
SimCity.
SimCity, yeah, exactly. SimCity is a perfect example. I played a demo of one recently called The Crust, where it's basically you're building stuff on the moon, which is kind of interesting. But Satisfactory is all in first person. So rather than being up, in the sky looking down on stuff, you're actually running around and placing stuff. So
that's like Minecraft.
Yeah. It's very much like Minecraft. I'm not a fan of Minecraft, but I love Subnautica. It has a lot of the same building vibes as it.
I can get addicted to Minecraft, but that's just because I like collecting the blocks.
Okay. But yeah, I've been really enjoying Satisfactory, and I've been playing that a bunch. So I've been basically getting in some of these days. I'm like, I'll just get one quick achievement and I'll go play Satisfactory. So I've been playing a bit of that on my computer now that I have one that can run games like that. So because I still got probably about 5 more to talk about. How many do you still have?
Well, I've gone through 2. I've got 3 more.
Okay. I'll do one more before we move on to your next one. So, let's see here. So as I mentioned, the Better Completion Matter year-long challenge that I take part in, run by a community member in the True Achievements community. The November bonus is for building your dictionary of words based on the number of words in the game titles of the games you complete 100%. So, Ghost Song counted towards 2 words, Ghost Song, since it is 2 separate words. Another game I played to actually the best one because it had the most words was Age of Empires 3. It's like definitive edition Windows or something like that. Let me pull it up here.
What did you use the Did you use the command line or whatever console commands?
It has cheat codes in it, and yes, I did do that. So, Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. So, of didn't count because it has to be 3 letters longer, but the 3 counted because it wasn't the number 3; it was Roman numeral 3, just based on the rules that the guy who runs the competition set. So that counted as 5 words towards my dictionary. So those 2 games together made 7 of my words. Yeah, well, you can get as many words as you want. The bigger your dictionary, the more points you get. But in order to count as participating, you have to get at least 10 words. So I had started Age of Empires 3 back in January of 2021, so almost 2 years ago. And it's basically because there's a lot of easy achievements you can get super quick. So it's been I've been using it for most of that time as like my emergency game. Like if it's getting late and it's almost towards midnight and I don't have an achievement yet, I'll boot up Age of Empires real quick and get an achievement, and it's super easy to keep my streak going because I like having keep my streak going, which I just passed 850 days, so it's a pretty decent streak. But yes, I now have the completion in it, and
Nice.
I did because they did add DLC to it, even though this game originally launched in like 2008 or something. They added DLC to the game just within the last like year or two.
They just added DLC to Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, same thing. I'm not doing Age of Empires 2. I'm not a fan of strategy games. But because this one you could do with cheat codes, which Age of Empires 2 you cannot do, which is why I'm not doing it. And I don't like the genre in general. But it wasn't misleading because it says for the full completions like 9 to 13 hours. I have no idea how you could do it. Even using the cheats, it still took me about 50 hours to complete it from start to finish. But that was over the course of like 2 years playing it like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, until this last month where I was focusing on it, getting all the rest of those achievements. But because they added DLC, I had the DLCs added to my wish list to keep an eye on them, and they did go on sale sometime last year. So I picked up the DLCs for a couple dollars when they went on sale. And I got the completion. Even though I have the completion in Age of Empires 3, I literally still have no idea how to play the game. If you were to like, all right, let's play Age of Empires 3, I wouldn't have any idea what to do. So I know that you can progress through the ages. I don't know why you do that. I don't know what benefit it gives you other than there are certain buildings you can't build until you get to certain ages. I don't know what it actually requires to be able to legitimately get to those ages. So I don't know, is it like Civilization where you can win through different means that aren't combat? Can you like win through technology? I have no idea. I know you can win
Age of Empires 2 you can win by building your wonder.
Okay, because I built
Wonder
wonders because there's
building.
an achievement for some of the wonders, but when I did that, it didn't finish the game. But it could have been the game type I was playing because I do know
Yeah.
that you can win through domination of combat, and because the best way to do that is there's a cheat code. You just type in tuck tuck tuck, and it spawns basically an invincible monster truck. You can just drive over their entire army and just level everything.
So it's like the car in Age of Empires 2.
Exactly.
But
Well,
I think the
I'm
car
assuming.
actually isn't invincible. It's just considered its own
I'm
unit.
assuming there's something like that in Age of Empires 2. I have also done Age of Empires 1, and I completed that a while back, and there was like a Mustang that shot rockets or something. But yeah, it's not technically invincible. You could sit there and all their armies would shoot it and would die eventually. But even when you have like an entire army shooting at it all at once, it still takes a long time for it to die. So you don't really ever have to worry about it getting destroyed. But yeah, I don't know how to play the game, but I do have the completion of Age of Empires 3 now as well.
There are
And
some games that are like that.
And Dempsey apparently likes Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is so good. I still watch T90. Is that a streamer? I have no idea what that means.
The only person I watch that does anything about simulation games is Ambiguous Amphibian, and he just
That's a
does
pretty good
stupid.
name.
He just does stupid stuff in random games like Sims and
Never heard of it.
Project
Oh,
Zomboid.
Paul was just talking about somebody who does some really weird stuff at games like that, and I subbed to him. I'm wondering if that's who it was. I'll have to go look through my list of who I'm
I don't think it
subscribed
was
to.
because I think I said something on the Rumble side, and he said that, oh yeah, that guy's pretty good too.
Oh yeah, you were on Rumble on that same stream. That's right. Okay, then it's probably someone else. But
You
no,
should
keep
check. You should
saying
check him out if you just like stupidity, because that's what he
Civilization
does.
series is better than Age of Empires, in my opinion. I think most people probably have that opinion. I have no idea. I don't follow the strategy game community, so I don't know. I prefer turn-based and RPGs. Okay, fair enough. I don't like turn-based, so I definitely wouldn't like Civilization as much as I would like Age of Empires, but I don't care for either of them because I don't really like RTSs.
The only RTSs I've ever finished were the Halo Wars games.
Halo Wars. And he's saying, okay, Age of Empire 2, you can win by collecting all the relics on the map through alliances and through regicide as well. I don't know what regicide means, but good to know that there are
I think you
multiple
just
ways
kill the
to
king.
victory.
You kill your opponent's king or something like that.
Okay. That's what I was kind of guessing through the context. And I was saying that the capture the flag style games like King of the Hill, capture the wonder, and hold it until the timer runs out. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's more than I even learned about the game. And there was a lot of the solutions that are like, just build this building. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So I had to go look up guides on just how to do some of the most basic stuff until I kind of figured it out. And because there would be times where I wouldn't play it for months at a time.
Yeah,
And I'd come back and I'm like, I don't remember how to do these things. So yeah, it's just like Minecraft. I have the completion and I have no idea how to play the game.
I have the Minecraft completion, at least until the recent update. But I do know how to play that game.
Okay. Yeah, I have no clue. I just went through the achievement world and walked down the line and did all the things that the little sign said to do, and I got all the achievements. So, what do you got next?
I didn't finish this game because what I was doing was I was doing the DLC. I had already completed the main game back when it first released. Just I never went back and did all the multiplayer stuff that they added later, and that was Resident Evil 6.
Okay.
So pretty much since I have multiple Xboxes and multiple accounts, I did as much as I could with just 2 Xboxes and 2 controllers.
Oh, is there more than 2-player stuff in that game? I thought that it was only co-op.
They all the added modes were like versus
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Did not know
So
that.
like there is actually a game mode that would actually make Melee James love it because it's a 4-on-1.
Oh, it's a asymmetrical
Yeah.
multiplayer.
The big thing that's chasing everyone throughout the main game, right?
In 6, no, I know that there's
Oh.
like Mr. X in 2, I think is.
Well, in 6 there is an enemy that's trying to capture a certain person. And the way that Resident Evil 6 works in the story mode, there's like specific points where the stories converge, and he's one of the bosses that happens at one of those convergence points. And one player plays as him, and he has to try and take down the regular people while they try
Okay.
to take him down. So that game mode I was able to complete because you could do everything with just two players. The thing that took the longest though was the fact that I had to capture a certain amount of people.
And I'm assuming you had to play that with randoms.
No, there's nobody playing. So,
Oh, yeah, that's a
and
good point. I
even
doubt
if nobody's
you're
playing, you can do it
gonna
all in
find
private
anybody.
matches.
Okay.
So,
But another thing is, if there's no one playing live, does it fill it with bots, or is it just you
I
have
just
to
had
have.
to use my other Xbox because I have
Okay.
2 copies of Resident Evil 6.
Because you've only done the 2-player stuff, you haven't done the rest of the stuff, is that right?
Yeah. So what happened? What thing is though? I did all of the achievements I could do with just me and that other controller. It was just kind of annoying with some of them because like
Yeah.
there is a game mode where one group is zombies and the other side is people trying to keep an AI bot alive, and that one just took so damn long because you had to grind out 100 kills, 100 kills on the AI. And by the way, the
Oh,
AI
that okay.
and the AI, if he dies, rounds over. And you guys and you either switch to the other side or the game's over because the other team already played. So
Oh,
it just takes
okay.
forever because of that.
Yeah, that would be
I mean, yeah,
annoying.
you had to get 100 kills on the other on player control on players and while they were the normal people, that doesn't take that long because
There's like you potentially have 4 kills per round.
Well, the way I did it, I only had one other player, so
right.
So pretty much what I did
If
was
you were playing with other people, then
if I was playing with other people, it wouldn't take as long. But you always had to be the one that actually finished the bot, which would be really annoying if you were trying to do it with actual people.
Yeah, because you could get them down to like 1 health, and then someone else gets the credit.
Yeah, because the way that game works is that if you're a normal person, you have to get knocked on your ass before you can actually get killed.
Oh, you basically go into like a down
Last
state,
stand.
so someone could revive you, or if you have a teammate, they could revive you.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And the AI does the same thing. And whenever you're on the survivor side, you had to keep your guy alive long enough for that whenever it was your turn to try and kill, that you would have enough time to be able to
Oh, is because however long you last in the first round is how much you have to defend for the second round? Is that how it works? Gotcha. So the quicker you do it the first round, the easier it is on the second.
Well, if you were playing for legitimately.
Yeah, exactly.
But and then there was 2 other game modes. I was able to finish most of the achievements in one, and that was where you and everyone is a survivor, and you're just trying to get as many points as you can against the infected. Of course, if you're in the one I could get most of the achievements in, that one everyone's on the same map, and you could actually run to the other survivors and kill them if they weren't on your team.
Oh, so it's like there's multiple teams.
Yeah, you could actually do teams, or you could do free for all. And it was up to I think it was up to 6 players.
So it's based like a PvPvE mode.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And the other game mode that I didn't get anything in was a version that's kind of like that, but it's more like Tetris, where you each have your own map, and the more enemies you kill, you can send enemies to the other side. Well, let's just say trying to do that with 2 controllers is incredibly difficult.
I bet.
Because one of the achievements is you have to kill the other player 10 times with the zombies you sent.
Okay.
Well, usually by the time I can send some zombies over to the other guy, he's surrounded by normal zombies.
Oh, it's got to be your zombies, not
Yeah,
just
it's got to be your zombies.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that seems like it'd be a pain.
And I could eventually get the 2,000 zombies sent over, but it would be so much easier if I had someone else just fighting them at the same time.
Yeah, someone to basically boost it with rather than having to
if anyone has Resident Evil 6 and has that game mode, hit me up.
So I will boost it with you.
Yeah,
I do not.
And I'll help you with the other one, because the other one there's 2 achievements where you need 3 people.
Okay.
So I couldn't do it with just 2 Xboxes.
Maybe you'll have to set up a boosting session on TA.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the only Resident Evil I played through most of 4 on Wii. So before achievements existed.
I've done 5 and 6. 5 I still got plenty more to do. Most of it would be easier with one other person to do the co-op stuff.
I bet.
Then I have all there's also the same game mode, like the one where you're just trying to kill zombies to get points. They had that game mode in 5 as well.
Okay. So,
but that one's not as easy to boost because you need 4 people.
Yeah, more people. You need, the bigger pain it is. So, all right. Well, Dempsey is saying that he played all the Warcraft games and StarCraft 1. Played some Command & Conquer. I played a little bit of Command & Conquer of the original. Never played any of the other ones. But yeah, RTS wasn't your big cup of tea. Just too popular among friends to avoid, really. Yeah, I understand that. The one RTS that I did play a decent amount of, never against people. I did not have the guts to go online and play it, but I liked playing against bots, was Total Annihilation, which was the spiritual successor or spiritual predecessor to Supreme Commander. I don't know if it was the same company, but it was basically the devs. I don't think it was, because Total Annihilation was by Cave Dog. Supreme Commander was by some other developer, but I think it was most of the same people that I think started the Supreme Commander studio after Cave Dog closed.
I think the only time I actually enjoyed playing against other people was that one mode in Halo Wars 2 where you had the cards.
I'll take your word for it.
But the only problem with that mode is that eventually you get to a point where you're just matching up against people who spend all the money on them. So
yeah, pay to win
like it
people.
was actually a fun game mode. It just the way that the progression felt, you either spend a ton of money or you just spend way too much time.
Yeah, understandable. And Dempsey ended up playing through the Resident Evil games with his wife. And she was actually pretty good. That's pretty awesome.
Hey, 5 and 6 you can play together, so
Um,
that's one good thing about
I'm
those games.
jealous.
Like 5 and 6 weren't really good Resident Evil games, but they were
That's what
good
I've heard.
games.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that they were pretty good games, just not great Resident Evil games. But I'll have to take their word for it, 'cause I don't know, given that I'm not a fan of the franchise. So,
If you like games like Gears of War, you'll probably enjoy them.
well, my my I don't know if it's any better in 5 or 6, but my number one complaint with 4 was the aiming is god awful with the controller. That's why playing it on Wii actually made it doable, so that actually aim
Oh,
with
it
the Wii.
definitely felt better in 5 and 6 because they did go more action oriented.
Okay. Because the way I explain it is like, because I had RE4 on GameCube and I literally couldn't play it. So when the Wii version came out, I traded my GameCube version for the Wii version. I was like, hey, this I can actually play, and this makes sense because it seems like, um, on when you're playing RE4 on a controller, it seems like you're not actually like aiming the gun, you're aiming the arms that are holding the gun. So,
they do a bit better. They do a bit better in 5 and 6.
because I tried RE4 again before it left Game Pass to give it another shot, and that was with the controller, obviously because it was on Xbox, and it was the same problem I had on GameCube. I'm like, I can't do this. So,
Oh, Dempsey, I'm the same way with the 2 new Zelda games.
oh, what's he saying? Let's see what he's saying. That's how I feel about the new Zelda games. A lot of people like them, and they seem like they were good games, but they don't feel like Zelda games to me. No Triforce Eagle's not a Zelda game.
There's a
I have
reason
not
why.
played them because I don't have a Switch, but I totally understand where you're coming from.
There's a reason why Breath of the Wild I consider my least favorite Zelda game I've finished.
Most of those games are lauded by everyone, but most of the people I've had on my channel talk about Zelda, they're like, I didn't care for Breath of the Wild or
Like I went
Tears
through
of the Kingdom.
I did every shrine and I maxed out the hero's tunic, whatever it was called. But after I finally beat it, I was like, okay, I'll never touch this again until Retro Achievements adds achievements to it. Then I'll finally go get the golden poo.
The old poo. Hey, what's up, DJ Axis? Good to see you, man. Glad you could join us for our achievement talk. So, okay, so my next one up was actually, as I mentioned, the Better Completions Matter, BCM for short. My random, I did briefly mention it at the end last month because it was something that I was going to be planning on playing, and I did. It was my randomly assigned game of the month called Kolot. I believe it's how it's pronounced, Kholat. And I did complete that. So I got credit for completing my random game. Although it doesn't really count for that much because you only get a really big bonus if you complete your random game every month, which I think I went into a little bit of a rant on that last month about how I missed January by like 10 minutes essentially. So it basically threw me off for the entire rest of the year. So I was like, I'll get some of the random games that are assigned to me. So I think this is only like the third one I've completed this year. That was my randomly assigned game. But I completed. It's basically a walking sim, and it was pretty boring. It was creepy. I wouldn't say it was scary, because there's like this ethereal, not ethereal. That's a bad way of putting it. There's
Sorry, I was laughing at what DJ said.
Oh, let's see what's he saying. Let's pull it up here. Also help, I started getting retro achievements. It's like crack. I can stop anytime I want. So cool. Yeah. Thanks, dude, for getting another person hooked on achievements.
Hey, I was a
Join
developer for
a while. But there's this like ghost-like creature that stalks random parts of the map, and he'll show up in some. I don't really know how. I'm assuming it's the same creature that shows up in different parts of the map, or there could be multiple ones. I don't know. Basically, you have to go through this like. You're basically like in the middle of like Siberia, so it's like this desolate, ever frozen wasteland essentially, and you have to go around collecting these like journal notes because you're trying to find out what happened to these people that ended up dying that weren't found until like the next spring when the snow thawed. I didn't read any of the notes because I wasn't really that interested in it. So I just followed the guide, the video guide, and he's like, go here to, it didn't even say anything. It was a no audio guide. Just followed where he went and picked up all the items because there's an achievement for it. So I got my first playthrough. I followed that because there's an achievement for beating it without dying, which I did die 2 or 3 times on my first playthrough because that like creature got me, and there are a couple times where I fell to my death because I missed. There's no jump button, but there are some points where you have to clear a gap by running real fast. You can't actually jump, so you just have to be going fast enough that you clear the gap. And I missed some of those, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. So following the guide of getting all the collectibles, I got my first playthrough, I did that, and I got 17 out of the 20 achievements in about an hour and a half. So it's not a very long game if you're following guide. If you weren't following guide, I don't know how you'd ever find any of this stuff because these little notes are like this big and they're like hiding in a tree and you're out in the middle of this wilderness. You have nothing.
And how many
at
trees?
All. The trees are everywhere. You're out in it's like you're in a a snow forest, and it's a pretty big area, and you can only sprint for literally like 3 seconds before you get winded, and then it takes like 15 seconds to recover before you can sprint again. You have to keep like holding sprint for 3 seconds, and then let go, and then hold it, and then let go. And if you don't want to get winded, and there's literally no direction at all. Like I was looking at I think some Reddit posts about it because you start out in this little town, and you would what you have to do is you have to, at the very beginning of the game, you turn around and you have to go find this path in the woods, and then you fall through what looks like the ground, but it's actually ice. You fall through it, and then you wake up, and then you're in some other area that's not connected to where you just were. It's like you went into a dream state and then woke up somewhere else. I have no idea what was going on in this game. And then when you're in that area that pretty much the game takes place in, there's literally no connection to that little town. But if you didn't even know that, you could be going around this town for hours without like, what am I supposed to do? There's literally no direction at all. The only reason why I knew you had to go here and fall through this hole to actually get to the game is because I was following a guide. And once you get there, there's no direction at all. So you have absolutely no idea where to go to get all these notes. And some of them are out in the open, but a lot of them are pretty well hidden. So if you weren't following a video guide, I would have no idea how you would possibly finish this game and get all the collectibles on your own. But I followed the video guide.
Looking around in random places.
It's not a very interesting game, so I definitely would not recommend it to anyone ever, except I got it for like, I think it was either Games with Gold or I saw it was a like 6 to 8 hour completion, and it was on sale once for like $2 or something. So I bought it back when I would look at all the games that are on sale, and I would look at the completion time, and it was short and it was cheap. I would buy it without even looking at the game. That could have been what I did with these. I don't really do that anymore because now I'm only interested in buying games that I'm actually interested in playing. But I
already buy too many games physically as it is.
Yeah. So
you'll see a picture soon in Melee Games Discord.
Oh, I see your post every week. Like, here's my take for this week. I'm like, good Lord, man, you got everything.
No, I don't.
I know. Otherwise, what else would you buy?
Exactly.
But yeah, so I got 17 out of the 20 achievements on the first playthrough, and then another one was there's this one part where you go into this like rundown bunker. And what you have to do is you have to go down the stairs. You have to turn around and walk backwards down the hall, and that creature shows up, and then you turn around and sprint. And, but if you don't do that, it's a missable. So I had to get that one. And then the other achievement was for not dying. So I did a speed run of that. Oh, that was what the other 3 achievements I had was. So I went and did that one where you have to go down the stairs and look backwards to get the thing to appear. And then I did a half playthrough on that one because there's also an achievement for there's this big cave system in the game, and you have to explore the cave system, whatever that means. There's nothing to track like anything like here's how much progress you have in it. It's just like explore the cave system. So there was a video guide specifically for that. So I just followed the guide and walked around where they walked.
Kind of like some of those random JRPG achievements where you have to get all of the map, and you don't know how much of the map you're actually missing.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing telling you how much of the cave system you've explored or what even it is the trigger to unlock the achievement. So I just followed the video guide. I walked where he walked, and then the achievement unlocked. And then I stopped that one because I had died a couple times in that playthrough as well. So that was like a half playthrough. And then I did one more quick playthrough of mainlining it. Because the first one, like I said, I got all the collectibles. You don't need all the collectibles to beat the game. So there's only specific ones that you need to actually get to the end of the game. So I just followed a guide for that specifically, and I did that without dying, and I got the last achievement, and I got the completion for my random game of the month. So I
I think
definitely
the last achievement was beating the game without dying.
yes, that was my last one. And DJ is saying that I think James played a bit during a stream roulette. Really? I did not see that one. I'll have to go back and see if I can find that. It might have been before I kind of joined in the Melee Games crew and started watching Steam Roulette. I'd be interested to find that. So yeah, so that was one of my other games for the month. You have one more, is that right?
Two more.
Two. Okay, go ahead.
This one I'll have a small rant on, but it is Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Okay,
I do have the gold edition, so I can get all the DLC achievements. Now, the rant is not about the DLC because I actually love that they have a disc version with the DLC on it. Of course, it's now
with the DLC on the disc.
Yes,
that's like unheard of.
Yeah, but by the way, this version of the game is like $90 on
eBay.
Oh,
of course it is. And we
because
got Paul
because
in the chat. What's up, Paul? Good evening, man.
But and of course the DLC is mainly just adding like eight characters that weren't in the game originally. Like I think it adds the Hulk, it adds Hulk, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and what was the other hero? Can't remember what the other hero was because it wasn't Colossus because he's right there. But there was one other hero, and it adds Venom, Magneto, Doctor Doom, and who was the fourth villain? Dang, I can't remember two of the characters, but
I don't know. I've never played that game. I've seen it played, but I don't.
It's a fun game. It's kind of like an action role playing game.
Yeah. Or you know what? I think I did play. Was there? I think I might have played it at a friend's house on PlayStation. Was there a PS2 game that was a Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
It was even on the original Xbox.
Okay,
so it was around that time period that everything was switching over.
Okay, I think I may have played that on PS2 at a friend's house once.
Yeah,
one of the only PS2 games I've ever played.
So because of that, there's of course going to be some issues with this version because with achievements. But it's not actually the achievement's fault. It is the coding fault for this one. But every time you unlock an achievement, the progress that you made getting new characters, getting new costumes, it all resets to the last time you save.
Oh, you mentioned that last time. That's right.
I didn't mention it last time. That was a different thing. I didn't even start playing this game yet.
Oh, maybe it was something very similar because I remember you talking about something very similar.
It was Mercenaries 2 that I was talking about.
Oh, so basically the same problem.
No, Mercenaries 2 didn't have that type of an issue. The Mercenaries 2 was just straight bad coding the entire game. But with this game, whenever you get an achievement, that stuff resets. Well, there's a couple of achievements where you unlock a character, you unlock an achievement. So whenever you unlock the character, you unlock the achievement, and then the character gets relocked.
What?
How did that get past Q&A?
Oh my! Did they even have QA?
I don't think so. But it's like any achievement would do this. Like you beat a boss. Okay, now all the progress you made towards costumes reset.
Oh my!
And by the way, most of the costumes you unlock by just beating enemies. So you get all the mainline game characters that are in the main game. You have to beat 175 enemies and then beat their comic book simulation mission. Well, that's not too big of a deal unless you decide to use that character before you get to a boss for the first time, and then that boss unlocks an achievement. So all that progress you made is just reset.
That's freaking terrible. Yeah, that's so. Do you? I'm assuming you're still working on it, or did you get
I
to
am still
completion?
working on this because I'm doing a
Okay.
second. I'm. It's actually suggested on True Achievements to do 3 playthroughs. Do a normal playthrough first time, then so you can get all the like regular achievements. Then you play through on easy. Um, it's not even the fact that it's not even the fact that
DJ's
it's the
comment.
achievements. It's the fact that it's the fact that an achievement that unlocking the achievement just resets everything.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So
So the
so
second
the second
playthrough on
playthrough you
PC.
play through on easy because there's an achievement for going through all the comic book simulations and getting gold medal on it, and it's apparently extremely easy. It's more easier to do on the easier difficulty than it
Makes
is
sense.
on the higher difficulties. And then the
And then
third
is there
playthrough is
a hard?
and then the third playthrough is beat it on hard.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks.
And apparently, if you every all the mainline characters, their last costume you have to unlock by beating their comic book simulation. Well, if you if you do that comic book simulation and then get an achievement and then save, that costume is now locked until your next playthrough.
Oh my goodness, that's so
So
dumb.
because it won't try and re-unlock whenever you beat the comic simulation again.
Oh my goodness, that
So,
sucks.
so you can actually lock yourself out of getting the achievement for unlocking all the costumes.
Like permanently with or not permanently,
At
but
least on that playthrough.
on that playthrough. Okay. Like you could always delete your entire save and start from scratch,
Yeah,
but you know
that's annoying. But
that's the
the
worst.
fact that I know that this happened, I did actually heed the warning of not doing any comic book simulations until late into the playing. But
Okay.
but there is a character that unlocks whenever you beat every comic book simulation. So I have to
Okay.
pay it, and that is an achievement tied to that one as well. So I got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, God, having to micromanage all this stuff just to make sure you get the achievements because they're so poorly implemented. Oh, that
What's
sucks.
sad is that the achievements themselves unlock as they are supposed to.
But
It's
the
the
side effects
fact
they
that
have,
it's the side effect that is the problem,
yeah.
and it's like, and this is the reason why I asked Melee James on a stream or in his Discord, how did you play the game? And he said on 360, but then he said, "Oh, I unlocked all the characters by using a cheat code." And I'm like, so that's why you didn't really see any issues.
Yeah. So are so there's cheat codes for it. Do they disable achievements?
I think they do disable achievements.
Okay.
So
That would make sense.
that probably helped him and why he thinks the game is the best game ever.
Yeah, if you're playing it just for the fun of it and just unlock all the characters and play as that and just
Yeah.
ignore the achievements, then it's a great game. But if you care about the achievements, then it sucks.
Yeah, and it's not it's if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be a bad game. But it's just the fact that they have that glitch in there is just so crazy.
Yeah, that alone would prevent even if I did have interest in playing that game, that alone would prevent me from playing it. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
At the very least, with the DLC being available on a disc, it won't ever be fully locked to you.
Yeah, that is nice because pretty much I wasn't even sure if any games actually did that because all the times that they you get the game of the year dish with all the
I
DLC,
know
it
the
comes with the
Bethesda
code.
RPGs do that. The
Well,
Bethesda RPGs have the second disc that you can install from.
well, because most of them have they just come with the
Voucher.
code to download the
Yeah.
DLC. I mean, like, I'm assuming you're
What's
talking
funny
about
is that
something other than Skyrim
whenever you
because
save on this game, it actually has a warning saying, because you are saving on the gold version, you will not be able to play this save on the original version disc.
okay,
So I think it's because of the way the DLC is handled on this version of the game.
that would make sense. But I'm assuming you're not talking about Skyrim because like the Skyrim anniversary or whatever the latest version was 10
Has
years
the
after the
DLC
game
on
came
disc.
out and has all the DLC
Yeah.
included. But it's not like a Game of the Year edition that came out like a year after the game.
Yeah. Well, some of the Game of the Year editions do come with the game with the DLC on disc. I think the Borderlands games also did that too.
Okay, that could be. I don't know.
I know that they sold the first 2 DLCs for Borderlands on a disc as well, because not everyone could get them online.
I know that back in those days, there wasn't a lot of them, but they did do a few of the Xbox Live Arcade games. Was like basically the first
those
iteration
compilation discs
of console games having digital only games. So if you didn't have the internet, you couldn't get them. And they did a number of those collections where you could get a bunch of these arcade games all on one disc. I thought that was really cool. But I don't.
Dempsey, I wish that some of those games. I wish that Morrowind. I wish that everything other than Skyrim actually had achievements on the Steam.
Yeah,
Skyrim is the only Elder Scrolls that has achievements on Steam. And
Oblivion doesn't have them.
Nope.
What? Interesting.
And also Oblivion on PS3 doesn't have trophies because that was before the trophy support.
Oh, that's right. I did know that, even though I've never played the PlayStation version.
And of course, Morrowind and Daggerfall were released before those were a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've only ever played through Oblivion once, but I've played through Skyrim about 3 times.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we were talking about that because I was like,
I've done it 4 times. I've done it on the original Xbox 360 release, the Xbox One release, Steam, the original release, so I can still do the Legendary Edition. And then I've done PS3 edition. So I still have 2 more versions I could do for achievements.
Nice. Yeah,
I could do the PS4 and the Legendary Edition on Steam.
Yeah, I completed the 360 version and I've started the Xbox One version, but I haven't actually gotten into playing it yet. I think I'm only at like level 10, so I've played it for like a couple hours.
It's always hard not to break the game though.
Yeah. What?
And I always break the game. I always break it in a way that I can just hold everything, because I always make it so that my my enchantments can go to skyrockets.
Go to infinite.
And I literally just do carry weight. So I end up having like 2 billion carry weight available.
That's crazy.
And it always takes forever for my inventory to open.
Has to take forever for it to load. Yeah. Oh shoot! I was going to say something else about that, but I don't remember what it was now. But oh well. Along those lines, that's what I was just going to say is that I played through the 360 version and started so I had already said that.
Yeah, you said that.
The other thing I was going to say is because you've played a bunch of the versions of Skyrim. I've only played through it once. Oh, that's the thing I was going to say is that last time we talked about it, I said that I was planning on getting to level 100 and I got close. I got to level 98, but I mean, you're like, oh, my character's like 250. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because if you break your enchantment levels, you can then make it so that anytime you use magic, it doesn't use any magic points.
Yeah,
because it's over 100% efficiency
recovery. Yeah, Dempsey, I
broke
no efficiency. Yeah, I spent so long jumping and healing in the tutorial. The enemies were dropping glass and going right outside the tutorial. It was a breeze. That's funny.
That's nice.
But along the lines of playing so many different versions, I haven't done that with Skyrim, but I have done that with Arkham Asylum, and I still have a few more because just on Xbox there are 6 stacks of Arkham Asylum. I've
only done 2 of those, and I think I've just done on different platforms. I still need to do like Game of the Year edition.
I've done 3 of them. I have. Where'd it go? Oh, it's up there. But I just got it in the mail this week. So I've done the 360 version. I've done the 360 Game of the Year edition. And I've done the Return to Arkham Asylum, which was the Xbox One version. I have the PC
Games for Windows Live
version. I'm also going to be getting the PC Games for Windows Live Game of the Year edition as well. The only one I'm not going to do is the Japan stack because you have to actually have a Japan Xbox to play that one. So I'm going to do 5 of the 6 stacks. And one of the reasons for that is because they are Metroidvanias and on TA. Yeah. So
one of these days I might think about doing the Games for Windows Live version of Dark Souls.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, there was, but apparently it's a really crazy trick to actually get it working though.
Yeah, there are some Games Windows Live games
you can also use the physical disc.
Yeah, I've along those lines because there's another one that is also a Metroidvania, which I have not played yet, but I'm going to is because there's a 360 version that was on Xbox Live Arcade, and then there was the Games for Windows Live version. There's that too, but that one doesn't have a separate achievement stack.
It just
I
has
have
the
that
360 game.
just the 360 Xbox Live Arcade version, which I have, and I have not played it yet.
I've
But I
only
have
played the
watched
Vita version.
James. I have watched James stream it. So I will be playing that one at some point. No, the game I was going to mention is Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. Also has a Games for Windows Live stack, and I think it's delisted now, so you can't actually get it. But I've got friends in my Xbox community that have special ways, so I have a copy of it, so I can play it when I'm ready to start that. So I have both versions of that as well.
Makes me want to reach out to them to get some delisted DLC.
I don't know if you can do it with any other games. I just know
it just
they've
works for
got
Games
it
for Windows Live.
Just that specific game, Insanely
Gotcha.
Twisted Shadow Planet. Because there is a Games for Windows Live game that I have, and I didn't get the last achievement because it was glitched. And then I was like, oh, I'll go back and get that last achievement later once they fix it. They fixed it, and I just never got around to it. And then like 8 years later, I'm like, I think I'll go back to it. And I literally cannot get it. It was Tinker. I think it was like the first Games for Windows Live game, and it was a free-to-play game. It's that you play this little robot, and it's a puzzle game. It's a pretty interesting puzzle game because I love puzzle games. But I literally cannot get it to. I owned the game, but I literally cannot download it and get it to play. So I will, as far as I can tell, I'll never be able to actually finish getting that one achievement.
The only Games for Windows Live game I've played through is Halo 2.
Okay, I wanted to, but I never got.
I got all the achievements on that before it went down.
I remember you mentioning that. I was like, lucky. So let's see here.
What's your next game?
Okay, so my next, I'm gonna do 2 before I go on my rant on my very last game.
Well, actually, what we can do is you can do your 2, then I can do my last game, and then you can do your rant.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna do. So I've got 3 left, so I'm gonna do 2 right now, and then you can do yours, and then I'll do my last one. So because one of these was I just played off and on, but so the first one I'm gonna actually I'll start with the shorter one. The Walking Dead collection. I was planning on completing it this month to count towards my dictionary bonus. I didn't complete it, but I'd played through probably about like 10 more chapters of the game. But I'm still only like at about 55% completion on it, so I've still got a lot more to play on it. Just because basically it's it's a Telltale game, so and you can't speed through it. You just have to let it play. I have already played through all of them. I think I mentioned that before, but it's been quite a while. But they're all really well written because they're basically playable movies. So I definitely don't mind playing it again. And I
did have my mom play through it, but she had to give me the controller every couple of times. She's not very good at shooting.
Yeah, it's pretty rudimentary, but if you're not an actual gamer,
she can play Dynasty Warriors, but she cannot play anything that has shooting in it.
Interesting. But all of the Walking Dead Telltale games also have Windows stacks, so I'll be playing those at some point as well, because they're pretty easy completions. You basically just play through them and get all the achievements. But so I played through a good number of chapters, and then I was like, it's too late in the month. I'm not going to have time to finish it. But I did do more of that. I'm currently in episode 4 of season 2, so I'm pretty close to the end of season 2. If you have played it,
I've only played season 1, so
okay. If you have played it, AJ is about to be born. Just to give you an idea of where I am in the game right now. So that was something I was playing off and on throughout the month. But the other one that I did complete is a old Xbox Live Arcade game that I thought I bought like 10 years ago and just never actually and started, but just didn't actually play. But I did realize that I did buy it back in like 2010 or something, but I didn't actually start the game until I did my Bean Dive in 2018 is when I started the game. And I did. So the game is, it was originally called Trenched.
Do you know? Heard of that one?
So it was originally Trenched, but due to some, I remember when it happened, it was probably like in 2012 or something. There was some sort of like copyright infringement or something, or trademark thing that they violated with some country in like the like middle of Europe or something. I'll have to go back and look at the details, but I remember hearing it on I think it was like the official Xbox podcast with Major Nelson, like 10 years ago, they were talking about it when this happened, but it was originally called Trenched, and some like Polish company or Estonia or some country over in that part of Europe like filed a trademark dispute or something, so they had to change the name. So it is now officially known as Iron Brigade, which I'm sure you probably are familiar with because it's
I
on
might have heard of that.
it's on Game Pass as well. But I bought it like in 2010, like a couple years after it had come out, and I'm like, "Cause this looks like a cool game." It's basically like a steampunk mech game. It has a very World War II vibe to it, and you have these mechs instead. It's like a rudimentary mech warrior game because you can build your mechs to have all sorts of different guns, different legs, different chassis. And I had played through the single player campaign. Let's see here, probably in 2021. No, I actually started the game in September of 2018, and I played through it and completed the story in December of 2018. So I had started it and played it within a couple months, and then I just left it there because there's an achievement for getting bronze on all the missions. There's an achievement for getting silver on all the missions, and an achievement for getting gold on all the missions. And doing that solo is quite difficult because you can play the entire thing in 4-player co-op. So I was like, I'll go back and get the rest of those. And there's also a DLC, which is also playable in co-op. And I was like, I started the DLC. That's what it was. I beat the game back in 2018. It's like, I'll come back to it later. So earlier this year, in August, I was like, okay, I'll play through the DLC. There's only like 5 levels, but just beating like level 2 or maybe 3 out of those 5 levels is really, really difficult, if not impossible solo. So I picked up with a few people and played through those missions on co-op. And we were able to beat the DLC campaign. And then we were also able to go back through the story campaign and get golds on all the missions as a group. And it made it much easier. They were just starting the game, so I had to grind them up to be a formidable level before we could really get those golds. But it's not, if you've got one person who's pretty high level, you can get the rest of the people leveled
kind
up.
Kind of like Borderlands.
Yeah, but you can get them leveled up you can like power level them pretty quickly. So it wasn't like a lot of grinding. And then there are, in the DLC, there are 3 achievements. One for beating the campaign, which is like those 5 missions I mentioned. Then there's one achievement for beating wave 20 on survival, which is basically endless on this one map. And then there's another achievement for completing wave 30 of survival on this other map. So during that same time in August, we completed the wave 20 on that map called Swamp. And then we attempted wave 30 on the map called Settlement. And map Settlement is probably one of the hardest maps in the game because how the game works is you usually have 1, maybe 2 different points in the map where you have to defend it from oncoming waves of enemies. And it's not only is it a mech game, but it's also a tower defense game. So you can set down all sorts of different types of turrets and through the map that help you shoot at the enemies.
Kind of like Gears of War. In Horde mode?
I haven't played. Oh, in Horde mode, yeah. Similar, very similar to that. And there's very much like Horde mode in Gears, there's tons of different types of unit that each operate somehow different. Like there's ones that will swarm you and explode, and there's other ones that are slow and strong, but don't, they have a lot of health, but they're hard to kill. There's ones that have ranged attacks. There's all sorts of different. There's ones that shield other enemies, so you have to kill them first. Otherwise, the other ones are invincible. So there's all sorts of different types of enemies. So, but on this settlement map, there's 3 points you have to defend, and because there's 3 of them, their health bars are shorter because it has to fit in the same amount of area that there normally would be for 1 item. So, if there's one like arching health bar when there's 1 thing to defend. When there's 2, it's half and half. There's 3, it's in thirds. So the more items there are to defend, the smaller the health bars are. So the easier they are to be destroyed. And they're spread out, and your mechs are not very fast. So it's a very difficult map. So we tried it a couple of times, and we kept failing. So we're like, all right, we'll work on it at another time. And then like a day later, they worked on it without me, and they got the achievement. So I'm like, that sucks. Because they were able to play like on a Monday or something when I wasn't able to play because I was at work. So I had left it since August with just that one achievement left for beating wave 30. So I was looking at the solution, and they're like, if you have this particular turret, place them everywhere you can. And because he's saying like use this chassis and these weapons, and I was like, okay. And I tried it a couple times solo because I didn't have a team. As I was like, I'm doing decent, but I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this solo. But one of the things that people were saying in the comments is like the sniper turret was what the guy writing the solution recommended is not good enough. You need the higher level one that's the piercing sniper. What that actually means in difference, whether it actually hits multiple enemies at a time if they're lined up, or whether it just does more damage, I'm not really sure. But I had the piercing sniper turret, so I tried that one and placed them all over the place. And the first time I did that, I think I got to like wave 18 on my first try. And I was like, okay, this isn't too bad, because it also said equip 3 of this one gun on the mech. It's saying because you have 3 this one mech happens to have 3 slots, because each mech chassis has different weapon loadouts and different turrets they can use, because there's like weapon turrets, there's support turrets, and is similar. There's different categories of weapons like machine guns, snipers, rocket launchers, all sorts of different weapons, and some of them take up more slots and stuff. So it said use this mech. It's got 3 slots. Equip it with this weapon. And I was like, oh, I only have 1 of that weapon. How do I get more? The only way to get more of that weapon is by surviving at least wave 5 on this map. So the first time I failed, so I ended up with another one. So I equipped 2 of them, and then on my next try, I was able to do more damage in addition to my turrets. And I didn't think I was going to make it because I was like on wave 28 out of 30. And one of the 3 things literally had like, you couldn't even see the health bar. It was so empty, but it hadn't been destroyed yet. I was like, there's no way I'm going to survive 2 more waves. And I did survive 2 more waves without that one being destroyed. And I was like, yes, I made it to wave 30.
Nice.
And I did get an achievement. I'm like, oh no. So I paused it. And I looked at the achievement and it said beat wave 30, not get to wave 30. I was like, hyper. I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive another wave without this taking like 1 more hit of damage. And I did. I actually made it to wave 38 before I died. So I got the achievement and I completed the game. So I was happy about that, which counted for Iron Brigade for 2 more words for my dictionary, which brought me up to 10 words. So I got credit for participating in the bonus. So you have 1 more game?
Yes, I do. And it's one from Retro Achievements. And this is actually a game that I originally developed the achievements for.
Oh, cool.
But
this is what you were talking about with me.
That's what I was talking about before the show. So for the people who in the audience, back whenever I used to develop achievements for Retro Achievements, they were trying to standardize it in a way that every game would have 400 points at the time. And
kind of like the original Xbox.
Kind of like how the original 360 did, where it was 1,000 points.
Yeah, 1,000 points for regular games, and arcade games were 200, and then they bumped it up to 400, and then 600. And then I actually went to 1,000 before Xbox One made everything 1,000.
Well, no, all retail games were always 1,000.
Right, I'm just talking about Xbox Live arcade games.
Yeah, but so whenever I developed the set, I developed it with the 400 points in mind. Well, over the years after I've stopped developing achievements, they've changed the standards in a way that they standardize the points on achievements, but now you can put as many achievements as you want into a game, and they don't care about the final point value. This is why you'll see like some games have over 1,000 points and some only having 100. But so they added achievements a while ago, so I just decided to start playing it while I was on vacation at Thanksgiving. So I started playing Pokemon Gold, and most of the achievements that they added were like beating the gym leaders with all your Pokemon being under a certain level. So it made it so you couldn't just blow through the entire game with one Pokemon, like everyone tends to do.
Actually, I've never played a Pokemon game, so I'll have to take your word for it.
Well, you know how you level up an RPG, and you know how you can collect Pokemon. Well, most people will just choose their starter and blow through the entire game with just their starter, because if they just beaten everything with their starter, that starter just gets all the XP and then gets super, super high level.
Okay, so even if you're fighting something that's they're weak to, they're still so powerful they just overpower it.
Yeah, you just use like tackle and it kills them in like 2 hits.
Okay.
So pretty much they made it so that there's a reason why you wouldn't just use the one overpowered Pokemon.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of other achievements like getting specific items at specific points in the game, and also collecting all the items that you can find on the ground and beating all the trainers. Thing is, though, I have to pay attention to all the trainers because there's some that are missable.
Okay. Yeah, it's given that you said there's like certain collect items you have to collect at certain points. I'm like, that sounds like a missable.
Most of the items though are not missable because you can always go to every spot in the game after after it's done.
Oh, gotcha.
But whenever it comes to trainers, if you know how there's the gyms, right? And there's the gym leader. Well, if you don't beat a trainer in the gym before you beat the leader, you can't fight the trainer after you've beaten the leader.
Oh, okay.
So stuff like that. And there's also the Team Rocket stuff where if you beat the boss of the Team Rocket, they all leave, even if you haven't beaten that specific trainer.
Okay, gotcha. So if you do it in the wrong order, you can screw yourself out of it on that playthrough.
But if you're just half paying attention, it's not missable.
Yeah, I gotcha. So did you get the completion on that, or is that something you're still working on?
I'm still continuing on. I've gotten to the Team Rocket hideout for anyone who plays the second generation Pokemon. That's
sounds like it's pretty far into the game.
Six gyms into the first region in this game. In this game, they have 2 regions, which is why everyone loves Gen 2.
Okay. And are both regions about the same time or size?
Whenever you go back to Kanto, it feels more like a post game, so it doesn't take as long.
Okay.
Because there's not as much craziness going on. It's just you just going around beating all the 8 gyms again.
Gotcha.
From the original game.
Because I know I've mentioned it before, but I don't remember what stream it was on. But I had kind of a when it comes to like act and amount of the game when I was playing Middle Earth Shadow of War. The first act is pretty short. It's only like a few hours. And then act 2 is basically the entire game. And I was like, when am I ever going to get to act 3? And then I'm still in act 2. And I'm like, basically the end of the game. I'm like, what is going on? And then act 3 is basically the post game. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought act 3 was going to be just as long as act 2. I'm like, how long is this game going to be? Jeez. Like, oh, act 3 is just the Shadow Wars. Okay. And DJ's with you there.
If it'd be fun to try and
Gen
challenge
2, baby.
I almost wonder if it'd be fun to challenge Kay to a race on any of these games. I know she likes Pokemon.
That'd be fun to watch.
And I want to do that. Doing achievements for those games.
Okay, yeah, I want to do that with Mega Man X games because the original Mega Man X trilogy are some of my favorite games ever. So, and I know a lot of people are big fans of Mega Man. I would love to do Mega Man X, X2, or X3 races with people. That'd be fun.
Well, you could do. Well, the X Legacy Collection is actually from what I can tell, is a pretty simple list, especially compared to the retro achievements lists.
Oh yeah, I've got the full completion in X Legacy Collection 1 and 2.
I actually I haven't completed Mega Man X, but I did do one of the harder achievements, and that was beating the game without getting any of the power-ups.
Okay. I definitely could do that if I tried.
It was mainly like all the extra power-ups you get through the normal game, but not like the boss power-ups.
Looking at my friends list, I'm only one of 2 people, and I was the first of the 2 of us to even get the completion. And it looks like everyone else has barely any in it. It's like, why do you like? Maybe that's one of my favorite franchises. And it doesn't get any love.
It's because the lists are just too hard for most modern gamers.
They're really not that bad. At least on the Xbox, the Legacy X collection on Xbox.
Because I think the achievement list of regular achievements for Mega Man X has like achievements for beating the bosses without getting hit.
That would that would definitely be more difficult. The Xbox.
Let me look at that list. It's been a while since I've looked at it.
It's not too bad. But I would definitely go for that. I'm sure I could do it. It would take some practice, but I feel like I could
look at Mega Man X. It's been a while. Without taking damage, no secret technique.
Okay. I almost want to do that now. I almost kind of wish that achievement was on Xbox.
And there's also achievements for beating each of the bosses with only using the X Buster.
Oh, I've done that before. That's not too bad. The thing would be to combine it, do it using only the X Buster without taking damage.
Yeah.
That'd be more difficult.
Yeah, they have one for each boss where you beat it without taking damage and with only using the X Buster.
Oh, I kind of want to do that now.
Hey, that might be your first game you play on Retro Achievements.
So could I use my Mega Man X Legacy Collection to do retro achievements, or how would that work?
You have to use RetroArch.
So okay, so they have a specific emulator you have to play it through to get. Is that how it works?
Yeah, because but RetroArch is kind of a standard now for most people that play emulation.
Okay.
You can get on your phone. Hell, I've even put it on my Xbox Series X.
You can do. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, Xbox is cracked down on that, but you can
right.
You can do it in
on
developer
the dev mode. Okay.
But I actually did do Spyro Year of the Dragon on PS1 using my Xbox.
Nice.
And the Retro Achievements works using that too.
Sweet.
It's not only RetroArch. They do have standalone emulators, but those are kind of deprecated at this point.
Okay. Well, I have no problem doing it on my computer, especially since it's an older game. Even my old computer, I'm sure, could run it.
I think Dempsey. I know you're saying Symphony of the Night, and that's definitely a high on my list. But I think Super Metroid beats it.
Yeah, between Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid all day. But that also is because I will take sci-fi over fantasy like 99 out of 100 times. Basically, the only time I'll take, but the best example I have where I will take fantasy over sci-fi is Elder Scrolls versus Fallout. I'll take Elder Scrolls over Fallout just because Fallout are the only one I played is Fallout 3, and I loved it. But I just
New Vegas.
I know everyone loves New Vegas. I have not played it though, but just the main reason for that is because Elder Scrolls are so vibrant and alive, and there's lots of color, whereas Fallout is all very muted and everything is dead.
Yeah.
So it's more of the setting in that one more so than the genre. But I will, and anything else, I'll take sci-fi over fantasy any day. So I will take Super Metroid over Symphony of the Night, and it's a good game, but the best, no. My favorite of all time Metroidvania is Ori and Will of the Wisps. Fantastic, phenomenal game. I freaking love it. But yeah, I love Super Metroid. I haven't played it in a really, really long time. I should probably play through it again.
You should do it through Retro Achievements.
Okay, yeah. When I play it again, if it's got Retro Achievements, I will definitely play it through Retro Achievements. His number 2 is Super Metroid. Okay, good stuff. And DJ also says that Symphony Night would be his number 2, and Super Metroid is the Mac Daddy of Metroidvanias. But yeah, if you haven't played the Ori games, they are phenomenal. The second one, in my opinion, is significantly better than the first one, but they are both great games. And in my opinion, Ori does the Metroidvania genre better than anything. One of my other favorites that never gets mentioned enough, I mention it often, but in internet circles it doesn't get mentioned a whole lot, is Shadow Complex. I love Shadow Complex, and that is a great game as well. It's very, very Super Metroid Super Metroid-esque.
I mean, I'm quite partial to the Prime 1 and 2 as well.
Yes, if I had to pick between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, I'm gonna probably take Metroid Prime. Just because Metroid Prime was my introduction to the Metroid franchise. I knew it existed, but I never actually played any of them till Metroid Prime, and I freaking love that game. But I love Super Metroid.
The first one I owned, so
yeah, same. I think we were talking about it last night on Open Mic about Super Metroid and Metroid Prime. And
Prime 1 and Prime 2 are the only games I played on stream that I didn't do for achievements.
And also Zero Mission and Fusion. So, DJ's with me. Shadow Complex is really great. Yeah.
Let's just say I'm debating on whenever GameCube finally gets added to retro achievements. I'm debating on whether it should be Super Mario Sunshine or Twilight Princess that I should play through first.
Twilight Princess.
Well, the reason why is because Sunshine, I'm kind of known on the Rumble side of side scrollers as the guy who's always telling Craig to play Sunshine.
That's right, you are.
And with Twilight Princess, it's because I always tell Kay that Twilight Princess is better than Wind Waker.
Oh, by miles. So much better.
I mean, remember on that community night before you ever showed up, I told her there were 5 Zeldas that are better than Wind Waker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I came in kind of late on that one because I didn't have as much to talk about. But yeah,
And then you came in and her sass was on full 11.
Yes, it was. Is that the one where she's like, "Ooh, Ocarina of Time is your favorite Zelda"?
Yep.
Also, Link. Is it from that stream?
Yep. It's because of how I left. I literally held up Link to the Past as I left and said, "This is another game that's better than Wind Waker." And then that's when I clicked off.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. Oh, and Dempsey was saying that Metroid was the first game he ever owned. That's awesome.
It is
I've not
awesome.
played the original version, but I have played Zero Mission.
I did make the achievement list for NES Metroid. It's kind of basic, but it's like the typical stuff, like collect all the upgrades, beat the game in under an hour.
Sweet. And DJ, yes, play Prime 2. That's actually the entire Prime trilogy is fantastic. But I've battled with myself on whether I like 1 or 2 better. I know a lot of people don't like 2, but I really like 2.
I like 2 for what it is, and actually my recent playthrough on stream, which I finished up last night, I actually realized that the Sky Temple keys are not that bad.
No, I think
it's not as bad as Wind Waker's on Triforce.
At least on the GameCube version. Yeah. Apparently, the Wii U version is way better.
Yeah,
but yeah,
the fact that they had to fix it is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I don't hate Wind Waker. It's just not in my top favorite Zelda games. Yeah, Twilight Princess.
It's still better than Breath of the Wild, though. So
I haven't played it, so I wouldn't be able to say. But yeah, Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time are my favorites. And let's see. Dempsey's saying that I made some music for Metroid Retrospective that Norporeal made for his. Oh, sweet! You made music for Norporeal? That's awesome. I watched that video. Yeah.
Now, time for your rant so we can get on to this award show.
Okay, yeah. Award show is probably starting very soon if it hasn't already. Yeah. So, my rant. My last game that I'm going to be talking about that I played this month, I've been talking about it a lot because I have basically been playing it since July. You may already know where I'm going with this because I mentioned it a few times before. Because I started it in July, and I've been playing it off and on. And I beat the story. So I'm talking about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I dived it back in March of 2019, just getting the first achievement. But I actually was like, all right, I'm going to play through the game and complete it. And I did that starting in July. I got the first achievement on July 16th and was playing it off and on. And I beat the story on October 1st. So playing it off and on for a couple months to complete the story. And then I went back and was going through and getting all the random side quest achievements and stuff, and getting the achievements for like kill 5 enemies from the same hay bale, collect all the letters, all of that stuff I've been doing. And then in November, no, it wasn't. So I was planning on having Assassin's Creed Syndicate be one of the games that counted towards my dictionary of words. So I was like, all right, I'm going to finish it off. So when like I said, I beat the story in October, and then I got through the rest of most of those other side achievements in the first week of October. And then I started the DLC that same day, and I got the first achievement in the DLC for the Jack the Ripper, the DLC. So I went into a little bit of a rant about this on Open Mic last night, but I was like, I'm not going to get into all of it because I'm going to save it for tonight, being what we're on right now. So I started the Jack the Ripper DLC on October 7th, and I put it on pause. I'm like, I'll do it later because I was kind of burned out on the game for a while. So I was planning on finishing the game in November, and I didn't actually get to playing it for late in the month. So I didn't actually resume the DLC until November 26th, so not very many days left in the month. So I went through and I completed the story of the DLC, and the only achievement I didn't finish the game. If you didn't gather that already, I still have probably about 6-7-ish achievements left in the game. But one of the achievements in the DLC is for getting 100% synchronization, which all of the Assassin's Creed games have, getting 100% in synchronization. However, most of the Assassin's Creed games, the achievement was for getting 100% synchronization in the main story missions, which means you have to complete all the side quests in each of the main quests. So, like, there'll be a side achievement for like getting 5 ledge kills in this mission.
Yeah.
And you just have to do whatever those little bonus items are in each of the story missions, and you'll get that achievement at the end of the game. Except Assassin's Creed 3, 100% literally means 100%. You have to do every single side quest in the game, everything. Yep. So I was not a fan of that because I did both stacks of Assassin's Creed 3, so I had to do all that stuff twice.
Oh, I did that. I did that one twice in the same month because of the server shutdown.
Okay, I did
on 360 and PS3.
Okay, I'll have to look at it here in a moment. Whether it was in the same month or not, but I think I did it in the same month as well. But I did all the single player stuff all within basically like the same month, I think, or maybe a month apart. I'll have to take a look. But I left all the multiplayer stuff till later, and I finished that off right before.
Thing is, though, luckily that multiplayer stuff you could do solo anyways.
Exactly. That was one of the nice things about AC3 is you can do all the multiplayer stuff solo in the Wolfpack matches, as opposed to Brotherhood and Revelations, where you have to actually have like 6 to 8 people to do the boosting. But anyways, the DLC, I did that. I got all the side missions completed in there's 10 story missions in the Jack the Ripper DLC, and I got 100% in all of those. No achievement. So I was like, what the heck? So I thought it was glitched. So I went and looked at because this game is notorious, at least for me, for having glitched achievements. So I went and I looked at it, and it says, no, 100% in the DLC, not just the main story mission. So you have to do all of the side missions and collectibles and stuff as well. It's like, okay, so I'll do it. So one of the other achievements in the DLC is for frightening 200 enemies. So basically, this DLC plays a lot. I think I mentioned it before, but just in the base game is because they added the grappling hook. It's basically the closest thing we'll ever get to a Gotham by Gaslight game, which is basically Batman in a steampunk Victorian England setting sort of thing. So this is basically, if that was a game, it would be Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because you get a grappling hook that allows you to scale walls really quickly, which is the first time that's ever been in the Assassin's Creed game, and it makes climbing a lot easier. But in the DLC, you actually get fear tools that you can use to frighten enemies, just like in Arkham. As you pick off more and more guys, they get more and more scared. You basically have tools that can do that. You have like this fear grenade, and you have like this fear spike that you skewer someone to the ground, and then their screams scare the other people. And so you have to do that to 200 enemies. And just like all the other achievements in Assassin's Creed Syndicate that do this X amount of times, the game is great for achievement tracking. So each one of those achievements, it has the little bar that fills up so you can see how close you are to getting the achievement.
But you had to do that for
100%. Yeah, so there's probably about 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 achievements in the game as a whole that have individual tracking like that you have to do something X amount of times to get the achievement unlock. Almost every single one of them glitched at like 98 or 99%.
Oof.
Every single one of them, pretty much. So fortunately, in the base game, for some reason, when you go into the Jack the Ripper DLC, if you do that, whatever that item, that requirement is, like 1 or 2 more times, in the DLC, it'll allow the progress bar to fill and you'll get the achievement. However, not all of the achievements that you need to do that for are even possible in the DLC. Like one of them is for completing 20, what is it called? 20 crowd events. There are no crowd events in the DLC, so there's no way to use the DLC to fix that glitch achievement. You got to start the game over again. Oof. So I've got all the ones that I am able to do through playing in the DLC I've gotten, but I still have like 4 or 5 of them left that I can't do in the DLC, and I got to start the game over again. Similar, the Frighten 200 enemies glitched at 99%.
Oof.
So, and there's no other DLC, and you can't do the frightening in the base game. It's only possible in the DLC, so it's not like I can go back and redo it. So there are other people who had this achievement glitch as well. They're like, oh, what you can do is go and delete it from your, I don't remember exactly what the steps were, but basically some cloud save trickery to delete the save game, play offline, fulfill the requirements for the achievement, and then on a new save file, and then when you come back online, the achievement will unlock. So I did that, and I got the achievement for unlocking or for achieving the 200 frightened enemies.
Yay.
However, it overwrote my save file with a new save game data for the DLC. So I was about 85% completion because, like I said, you have to get 100% in the synchronization completion. I was about 85%, and I lost all of my save data. So I have to play through the DLC again and do every single thing to get that achievement.
You
So
should
if
have waited until after you were done with everything.
Exactly. I should have gotten the 100% and then done it. But the thing was, I anticipated that happening. So what I did is, because I have a feeling that when I do this, it's going to overwrite my existing save file with the new save file. So what I did was, before I did that, I booted up the game here on my One X so that it would download the cloud save data to here, so that when I play offline and then I come back online, it's going to overwrite my save data. Then I can come to my One X and load it up. And whenever you have conflicting save files, it pops up and it's like, do you want to use your save file from the cloud, or do you want to use your save file from the Xbox? Because they don't match. It's every time I've ever had to do cloud save trickery like this, it's always asked that. I boot my One X up and it overwrites my save file with the cloud save file that was already reset, and it did not ask me which one I wanted. I was freaking furious. I was so mad. I probably would have gotten banned from YouTube if I was streaming at that point. So I was furious because I anticipated it, but did it ask me if I wanted to load my Xbox save file or my cloud save file? No, it just went ahead and loaded my cloud save file and overwrote my data.
What you probably should have done before doing that is actually deleted the cloud save and then tried to load up from that One X.
I did not even think about that. That would have been the way to do it. But it's never not asked me before. If there's conflicting saves, it's never not asked me before. And then the one time it was the most important, it didn't ask and just overwrote it. So
that's one of the biggest problems I have with the modern Xbox right now, is because there's no easy way to do save file management.
Exactly. You used to be able to, on the 360, it was great because you can copy your saves to the cloud,
whatever device you have,
your Xbox hardware, to your memory card, to your flash drive. You could have a whole bunch of different copies. You can't do that anymore, and that's one I agree with you. That annoys the heck out of me. So I have a fresh. I did not mean to do that. I have a fresh
Stop
save
the mic
file,
abuse.
On the Jack the Ripper DLC, so I have to start from scratch to get that 100% completion. The same.
At least it's just the DLC.
Yeah, I did the same thing, and I was to see if some of those other ones in the base game would progress again. And they did. I haven't unlocked the achievement yet, but I did see the bar tick up closer, so I know it works.
Yay.
And it did reset my save file on the base game, but it doesn't matter on the base game because I have to restart it anyways to get these achievements, because none of them are for completing the entire game. But because they are glitched, the one that I have to play through a good chunk of the game again, I think I mentioned this last time, but there's an achievement because you play through as you switch back and forth between twins, Evie and Jacob. So Jacob's the brawler, he's the fighter, and Evie's the stealth one. So there's an achievement for unlocking all the combat skills with Jacob, and there's an achievement for unlocking all the stealth skills with Evie. The Jacob brawler combat achievement unlocked, no problem. But when I unlocked all the stealth skills for Evie, the achievement didn't unlock. So that's the one that's going to take the longest, because you have to get through a good chunk of the game before you have enough skill points to buy all of those abilities. So if it wasn't for that, I could probably do most of the rest of these in a pretty short period of time. So because I was so mad at this, I was like, all right, I'm done with this game. If I do decide to go,
never say never.
If I do decide to go for the 100% completion of this game again, it'll be years down the line. I'm like, I'm done with this game. I'm so mad at this game. I'm fine with not having the completion in this game, even though my goal is to complete every game in the Assassin's Creed franchise, which I've done up until Syndicate so far. One day later, in the BCM contest, we roll our random games for December. What game do I get?
Syndicate.
AC Syndicate as my random game for December. I'm like, dang it, I don't want to play this game anymore. So I'm debating on whether I do it or I use one of my rerolls, because I've got a bunch of rerolls because I haven't used any of them this year, and go for a different game. Or do I just be like, screw it, I'm going to do it. So I haven't decided that yet. But as of right now, AC Syndicate got rolled as my random game of the month for December. And I'm not happy about it because I don't want to play this game anymore. But my OCD is compelling me to get that completion, and it'll count for the December bonus. Not the December bonus. Actually, that will count for the December bonus. No, a different contest. No, it will count for the December bonus as well, because basically the December bonus is just like any game you complete counts towards the bonus, and the more games you complete, the more bonus points you get. But the pool is shared between everyone. So it's a new bonus that's never been done before, but it will count towards the November bonus. But it'll also count towards the 12 Days of Christmas event, which I will get to in a moment. So that basically wraps up November for me. So what are you planning on doing for December?
Well, to be honest, I'm still going to be finishing these two games for now, because they haven't angered me in the way that Assassin's Creed Syndicate has. Because at least now with me getting most of the achievements in Ultimate Alliance now, it's mainly just me just playing through the rest of getting the rest of the achievements.
Okay. So is that all you've got planned right now, or do you have any other things that you're thinking about?
There is a game that I've been looking forward to getting achievements that's supposedly getting them on retro achievements, because you can actually do a request set, and it'll actually let you know if someone's actually working on
like a game that doesn't have achievements. You're like, let me know when the achievements go live for this game.
Yeah, and two of them have a developer, and both of them say they're coming soon. And just to let you know, those two are going to take a long time because they're Dynasty Warriors games.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Although Dynasty Warriors 3 won't take nearly as long as 5.
Yeah, I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game, but I know that those can be really long games for completion.
Yeah. And of course, starting this Saturday, we'll be starting on stream Devil May Cry 4.
Cool. Okay. Is that that one's pretty well regarded, right?
I think every Devil May Cry game is everyone still likes because of the gameplay. Yeah. I think 2 was the only one that was really kind of iffy on the gameplay. But even DMC 2015, people still say the gameplay was great.
That's what I'm thinking of. I know that one angered a lot of people, but the gameplay.
That one's the story. That one's just the story that made everyone angry, not the gameplay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So let me pull up my notes here again. So I will likely be pushing through my anger towards it, and likely be working on getting that completion on AC Syndicate finally 6 months after I started. I probably should. And fortunately, because whatever, like Ghost Song, the thing that takes number one priority is games leaving Game Pass that I'm interested in. So far, we had the first round of announcements of games leaving Game Pass in the middle of December, and none of them are ones I'm interested in, so I don't have to worry about it. There may be some at the middle of the month that are leaving the end of the year that I might have to panic play. I'm hoping not, but that's what's going to take priority if anything gets announced that I'm planning on playing. I've got a few games that I'm hoping to get done by the end of the year, because they do count towards the BCM bonus, and because I've just been planning on working on them. 2 of them are Metroidvanias. One is Axiom Verge. I've beaten it, but I have to go through it. I have to do it like beat it without dying, beat it another 3 hours.
I think I have that on Vita for physically.
Okay. So I have to get basically all of those achievements. And then I think I talked about it last time, but Cryo Gear is another very unknown Metroidvania. There's literally like nothing. There's almost no information about this game on the internet because there's so few people who have even played it. And I've had to do it like 4 times because I keep running into glitches. That I've been in contact with the developer of the game.
Yeah, I think you told me that last time.
Yeah. So he's been great. He was great, but I've been in contact with him, and even he couldn't figure out these bugs.
So wait, he can't. So wait, whenever a glitch like that happens, he can't help you out in a way that, oh, this glitch caused an achievement not to unlock. I can contact Microsoft to give it to you. You can't do that.
No, but it wasn't because
that's one good thing about retro achievements. Then, because if you have an achievement glitch on you like that, you can create a ticket, and if you have video proof of it, they will give it to you.
That's awesome. So mine isn't because the achievement's glitch; it's because a glitch prevented me from getting to the point of the achievement.
Yeah.
So
because whenever I was doing the Oracle games, one of the achievements didn't unlock because of a networking issue. But because it still shows like it unlocking, I just sent the video in with the ticket, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this unlocked. We'll just unlock it for you."
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
So,
That would be great if there's something like that for Xbox, but they don't care enough about achievements to
yeah,
fix broken stuff. They even
but it
released
is.
games
But you got
with
to remember, retro achievements is community driven, and everyone there likes achievements. So
yeah. Yeah, there's games that launch with unobtainable achievements, and
yep,
Microsoft's like, yeah, whatever. So
and they
that's
never get
annoying.
fixed. Like look at Smash TV.
I haven't looked at those achievements, but yeah, that game's been out forever. So if it's gotten unobtainable, it's been that way for 10 years
Yep,
probably.
it's never been fixed.
Yeah, there's a number of them. So, but yeah, I have one achievement left in Cryo Gear. I have to make it through the game, and at the end, there's an option. There's the quick ending, which I've done, and then there's the long ending where you have to get back to the beginning of the game, to the start room. And I've done that, but the door was locked, and even the dev couldn't figure out why the door was locked. And it had to do with something because every time you go into a new room, it unlocks it on the map, and then you can fast travel straight to that room. But the rooms are really big,
Yeah,
and it had something to do with that. Broke the door, so I couldn't get back into it. And the next time, um, and then the next time, you have to go. There's two ways to get back, or no, there's multiple ways to get to the ending, but there's only one way to get back because you can't go up because there's no double jump or wall jump in the game or anything,
yeah,
and there's no way to go there because there's a place you fall down, but you can't get back up that. So the only way to go is the other way. I didn't. It requires an item to go back, but that
yeah.
item is not required to beat the game.
Oof.
So I didn't get that item because I was speed running it, and I got stuck because I couldn't get past this point because I don't have the item that allows me to bypass this part. So I have to basically make a fourth play through the game, get that item, and then I can make it back and get to the
You got
end
the
and
bad
hope
ending then.
and hope that the door isn't glitched again so I can finish the game and get the
Yeah.
achievement. I'm planning on doing that. I don't know if I will, but I'm planning on it. And then I'm hopefully going to complete the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which also glitched on me because I have completed the game and I've
The
gotten the
Xbox One
chapter.
version.
Um,
All right, talk about the Square Enix game.
yes. So
I
I've
never heard anything bad about that one.
no, it's a good game. It was great. It was enjoyable. Um, and I've completed the game, which has 16 chapters, but I didn't get the achievements for chapters 14 and 15. I've got all the other chapters, but it didn't want to give me 14, 15. You can replay chapters in the replay. I've done it like 3 times and it won't give me the achievement. So I have to start the
Oof.
game over again just to get the last 2 chapters. And of course, the ones at the end of the game are the ones that glitch, not the ones at the beginning. So I've had a bunch of
Always that
glitch.
way.
I've had probably like I think 4 or 5 of the games I played this year have all screwed me like that. Another one was Road 96. I may do that one as well because there's an achievement. I beat the game, but it didn't give me the achievement for beating the game, and I redid my last save like 4 times. Still no achievement, so I got to play through the whole game again. It's a short game. It's only like 5 to 6 hours, but I didn't really care for the game that much, so I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, and almost all the games that I had glitch achievements on were ones that are Panic playing right before they left Game Pass, and then they left Game Pass, and I had to end up buying all these games. I bought them when they were on sale for like 75% off, so it was super cheap.
Yeah.
But I had all these games that glitch on me that I had to buy in
Why do
order
you
to
think I'm
complete at
playing
a later
mostly
time.
360 games?
Yeah, those ones pretty much all work as long as they're not unobtainable.
And hey, even Game Boy games, because at least if there's a broken achievement, I can let them know, and they'll work with me.
So, but yeah, so that and I don't think this is gonna happen, but I would also like to get the one final achievement I'm missing in Destiny 1, which is beating the Wrath of the Machine raid on heroic. And you have to get a group of 6 people together for that, and they all have to be high enough level. So it's the only achievement I need left, and I'll have a completion in that game, which will count for a lot of bonus points because it's a very long completion.
I have a
In
funny
the
story about that
challenge.
achievement. I ended up coming back like a year after that DLC came out because I was thinking like, oh, it was gonna be like the Taken King where they put it on sale whenever the next
Rise
game
of
came out.
Iron has still to this day never been
Yeah.
on sale one time.
So
I was
I ended
waiting
up
for it forever.
finally buying it, and then I
I
went
did
through the
too.
DLC, and I just went on the LFG on the forums, and someone was actually willing to take as someone who wasn't quite at the full level into it, but then they were like, "Hey, I found someone with the final boss checkpoint," and they brought me into the final boss checkpoint, even though I was like under leveled. I was never the person that caused the wipe.
Nice. Yeah, you could if you know what you're doing, even if you're not causing as much damage as the rest of them, you could probably still do the
Yeah,
final checkpoint if you have just one person who's kind of under leveled. And I'm
yeah.
because the max light level is 400, and I think I'm at like 395 or something, so I'm pretty
Something like that. Yeah.
close. So I could probably do it if I could get a group together. I haven't been on the LFG site since I was big into Destiny back in like
Yeah.
2015. I
During
should
the
check that and see if I can
I
find a
haven't really
group.
been into Destiny since that first year, and I did get into it whenever they added the moon into Destiny 2, but that was also whenever they added free to play, and I had my
Oh,
2 Warframe friends were like, "Yeah, let's play it for a little bit."
yeah, I
And
haven't
after
done
and then
Destiny
that was
2.
another year where they decide at the end of at the next expansion, they were gonna reset everybody again. So every
Oh,
time I play that game, they decide to reset everybody the next expansion. I'm like, "Why
I
am I
don't
playing
know.
this game again?" This is why I play Warframe. I can make everything good and then keep that gear as long as I want.
Yeah, I get you. So, yeah, maybe I'll see if I can get on the LFG site and maybe find someone who has the final checkpoint and just do the final boss. I don't have to do the whole thing. That'd be great. If I could, then I could get that completion, and that'll
Yeah.
count for a lot of bonus points in the BCM challenge.
And luckily, most people in Destiny are very friendly with, newer players too, so
Yeah, I'm not a newer player. I've got
well, I
six.
mean,
It's
whenever
my
it comes to when it comes to encounters and raids.
okay. Yeah, when
As long as you can you could I mean, some people are gonna be like, "Yeah, well, I'm out," but you can use
they'll explain the mechanics of the
but
raids and
if
stuff.
you'll
Yeah.
eventually get a group that will be willing to explain it and work with you.
I've done it like 2 or 3 times on the normal version, so I'm familiar with the raid.
I
But
never
I
did it on
haven't
the
done
original. I
I
never
haven't
did the
done the
normal.
heroic. So,
I only actually did, like, the first encounter on normal, and then I did the final encounter on the heroic. That's all I've done.
okay. Yeah, I've done the full thing on normal a couple times, but I've not done it on heroic yet. Not that'll give me the completion. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get done in December. I don't know how much of that I actually will, but especially because one more thing that I wanted to mention. Actually, I'll go ahead and let you plug, and then I'll mention this as I plug my stuff.
Gotcha. Um, I'm Dude1286. You can find me on Rumble, Odyssey, and, Kick. I stream Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 7 until usually around 10 o'clock. Saturdays, I tend to go longer. And I just pretty much stream myself achievement hunting, although recently I was playing Metroid Prime 2, which doesn't have achievements yet. So that was just a break from the Devil May Cry HD collection. So
Right.
next game I'm playing is Devil May Cry 4. And I'm gonna be playing through that game about 10 times because of the way those achievements work.
Yeah, it's always kind of a downer when it's like I got to play this game how many times to get all the completion or to get the completion.
Yep.
So,
And it's just because of the S ranks.
oh yeah, S ranks. I can go on a rant about S ranks, and I did about Azur's Wrath before. I think I talked about that last month.
Make sure you get the DLC for well, actually, no way. I think that DLC for that game is safe whenever because it is backwards compatible.
Yeah, I played I dove Azur's Wrath back in like 2018, and it was one of my random games of the month back in like January, and so I completed it in January, February, but by like I just barely missed it by like 10 minutes on the
Oof.
cutoff time, but I did get the completion, and I went on a rant about it on the Xbox achievement podcast that I'm really plugged in with the Achievement Hunting 101 community. I want to go get that audio and post it, just the audio on my channel as a video, so you can hear me rant about Azur's Wrath. So awesome. Well, that will pretty much wrap it up for our December or our November achievement chaser. So we'll do the next episode somewhere around New Year's, talking about what we did actually accomplish in December. And one of the reasons why I don't know how much of the stuff I'm actually going to get through, because I decided just a couple days ago that I'm actually going to kind of do what Dude does, where I'm going to start streaming some of my achievement hunting. And the kind of thing to kick it off is the 12 Days of Christmas event on True Achievements is pretty much everyone's favorite community event. And so I'm going to at least be streaming all of my 12 Days of Christmas achievement hunting. So if you're unfamiliar with the True Achievements 12 Days of Christmas event, what it is on day one. So today's the first. So we unlock the first challenge, if you will. And it's how it works is on day one, it's like unlock one achievement that meets this criteria. Day 2 is unlock 2 achievements that meet this criteria. Day 3 is 3 achievements. Up until day 12, we have to complete 12 achievements that meet some criteria. It's different every year. You have until the end of the month to complete it, but you have to complete them in order. So you can't work on day 4 until you've done day 3. And so I'm going to be streaming my achievement hunting through the 12 days of Christmas to start off
Sounds
my
like fun.
achievement hunting streaming. So I'm going to be starting that tomorrow, right after Party Chat. So I've got my next episode of Party Chat as usual tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.
Who's your guest? Who's your
Pacific
guest?
time. Yes, and the guest that will be joining us this week is Smooth the DJ. So we've not had a chance to connect yet in person or see each other in live stream chats all the time. We chat through Discord and stuff with the Melee crew, but it'll be the first time we're on a stream together. So he's going to be the guest. And then after that, I'm going to start my achievement hunting for the 12 days of Christmas. And since today is the first, we had day 1 announced what the challenge is, and they've never done this. They've done this as an event in and of itself earlier this year, bingo, where you get a board of genres and you have to get an achievement in each one of these genres to fill your bingo board. They did that as a standalone event earlier this year, but they did it as day 1 of 12 days of Christmas. So you have to essentially get at least 4 achievements because the center space is obviously a free space, as it always is in bingo. But you have to get at least 4 if you're doing, vertical, horizontal, or diagonal.
Yeah.
If you're not doing one of those, you're not using your free space, then you'll have to get 5 achievements in, to make cross one of your lines on your bingo card to complete the challenge. So we'll find out by the time I've started what day 2 is, because it gets announced what the next day challenge is announced at 2 a.m. Pacific, whatever time that is for you. I don't for anyone else's, whatever time zone you're in, but at least for me in Pacific time, it's at 2 a.m. So I won't be doing that at 2 a.m. because I'll probably be either going to bed or I'll be in bed.
Yep.
But by the time I start working on this tomorrow, I will know what day 2 is. So as soon as I'm done with day 1, I can go right into day 2. But like I said, normally day 1 is just 1 achievement. This is the first time we've ever had it where you have to get multiple achievements to fulfill day 1's criteria. So before we started the stream, I was kind of looking at my board and figuring out what achievements I can get to fill my board. But however, I was like, what would be make it a little more fun is I'll fill up my board of what I can use for each one of these. But since I'm going to be streaming it, I'm going to let whoever's in chat decide which route I'm going to go, whether they're going to say, oh, go for this line or go diagonal or whatever. And then
beat this 100-hour game on hard.
Because it is only day 1, I'm going to keep it to achievements that I can get in a lower
reasonable
amount of time, so I don't have to spend like 20 hours beating a game to get the achievement I need. But I'll let them first pick, all right, are we going to go for this line of achievements or this line? And then once we do, I'm going to have them, if there is anyone in chat, we're going to let the chat decide which achievement we're going to go for to fulfill each one of the bingo squares.
Gotcha.
So to make it a little more interactive. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm planning on, I don't know if I'll be doing it in December or in the new year, but to help grow the channel, I think I'm going to be doing some more content that's not live streams, because that's basically all I do right now is live streams, because edited stuff takes a lot of time, which I don't have a whole lot of time, because I'd rather be doing it gaming or YouTube. But I'm going to be, at minimum, I think I'm going to be clipping out clips, especially from Party Chat, for each of the questions and posting those videos to help build my channel. So that about wraps it up for me. So I don't know if it started yet, but I will be heading directly over to the Melee Game Awards after this.
Same.
So
you'll see me in the Rumble chat, and you'll probably see Nerdy in the.
I'll be in the YouTube chat. Dude will be in the Rumble chat. So come join us in the Melee Game Awards. Had a great time talking about achievements again. And look at that. As I suspected, we're already at 2 hours and 15 minutes almost when we're like, this is going to be a shorter one. And this one ended up being longer than our first episode. So, and thank you for everyone who joined us in chat. I saw Paul, I saw DJ, Dempsey. Good to see you guys, and look forward to seeing you guys next time. So, everyone have a great evening, a great weekend, and in the meantime, game on.